This year, I said what I said, has been probably our most successful year.
It definitely
And it will be somehow. We're not somehow girls. We're
not somehow girls.
We're respectful ladies.
We were well raised.
Yeah, and so we want to thank our 2025 partners.
Yes,
so we want to thank the following people: Miss Sam by Bamboo,
Bolden,
Bamboo,
Garnier,
Samsung,
Ruka Hair,
Banket Cuckoo,
Kai Collective,
Shotlers,
Mui Africa,
Madala,
Atumba,
DMW, Thalibichi,
Value Jet,
Zikoko,
Music City Central,
the She Tank,
the Malala Foundation,
Yellow Doors Hotels,
and Celebration.
Yay! And I know that we're not done because we have our live show and party coming up. So we want to thank Tubo,
Obi Weezy,
Beauty Hut,
Newer Skin,
Chrissy Bales,
Quacktails, always present, and many, many more. Everyone else that has worked with us and supported us. We love you.
Thank you
Work
so
with
much.
us again next year.
We shall see you in camera.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Are you into big boom?
Keep telling people you have anxiety issues. It's a lie. You are just wicked and mad.
Look, you've done BBL and we're all happy for you. Carry your new bum and go outside.
This is the podcast for you.
I'm not poor. Are you sure? It's because they are vaping. Now everybody's marrying on time.
At your big age.
Wait now. Do you know that I don't have clean pants to wear tomorrow?
I said what I said. The Unsolicited Opinions podcast starts now.
Please, this is a public place. Feliz Dirty December.
Feliz credit alert. Feliz Zagadat. Feliz. I don't even know. I actually don't know why I'm behaving like this.
Good tidings to thee. Let me tell you how I'm behaving now. There's a lot that has gone on in this episode. We've wrapped up the year. Yay! Woo!
A successful year. A good
successful year. And we will see you next year. That's actually the moral.
That's actually the moral of the story.
The moral of the story is that it's time for us to go. And, have a good time.
See you in February.
February, we will be back. Thank you so much for hanging with us. We'll have more for you.
Yep.
We discussed all the things we want to do next year.
Yeah, we did some dilemmas.
We
encourage you strongly to buy tickets to our party. Yes, live show is finished.
Live show is sold out.
But the party is going to be...
But the party is going to be a sweet one. It's on Sunday, the 22nd. And you can be there.
Not 21st, though.
21st. Mabinu.
21st.
It's the Quacktails.
Yeah, but yeah, we will be there. You will be there. And we'll
all be there. And we're going to have a swimming time. Honestly, just a lovely one. We have 4 DJs.
It's all going to be good.
It's all going to be a great time.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Have a great holiday.
Bye.
See you in February. Bye.
Happy New Year. Hello, boys and girls.
Feliz credit alert.
I'm screaming. I'm absolutely
Feliz
screaming.
Zagadat.
Merry Christmas to you and I don't know, Happy New Year, whatever.
Any year you find appropriate to have.
Go and do it.
Feel free.
Go and do it. That's what that is.
Welcome to our last episode of the year.
Good night to 2025.
Oh, wow.
And thank goodness for that. What a year it has been.
How are you?
I'm happy to see the year ending. I'm actually tired. I'm exhausted. What about you? Are you Decembering?
No, in the same way. I'm doing different things that are new to me, like respecting my age.
Oh, I see. Okay. Fair enough. I thought you were going to say you've been trying,
No. Not even that. So I just feel like it's chilled, I'm not really Decembering in the same way, but there are some things that I really want to do.
Yeah. I've actually left it. I've left it for the
youth.
The one time I stepped out, I thought to myself, guys, we have to pack it up. We have to pack it up. I was like, what I'm seeing here is not appropriate.
So yeah, I mean, we have done like some of the stuff we care about. So we went to Kewa's Food Fest yesterday. Oh, you guys, it is so odd seeing your friends' things balloon.
In a crazy way, because I was like, what? There are hundreds of people here. What's going on?
Hundreds of people. She doubled her capacity from the last time. And still the food went. By 3 o'clock, all of us were begging, like, please, is there anything? And they were cooking stuff, but it would come out, it would go really fast. So
it would come, you would just be chatting there. People have ordered, it has gone, and I'm like, what is going on in this place?
So that was nice. I know she said she wants to expand even more. Crazy, but it was really cute. Fake has a really good eye for decor and
I think so. It was very, very nice. It was very nicely done.
Yeah. So congratulations to her. No congratulations to her husband for Larry, who we thought had husband privileges and be able to get us
Let
food.
me not lie, he could not
0
get
over
us
10
anywhere. So thank you so much for Larry for just
0 over 10.
I was trying to follow you up and down in order to
just tall and married for nothing.
To see expose
0. They didn't even say, oh,
both you, both me.
They were even rude to when they said it's like, please excuse us. We are doing things. I said, wow. So this is your rep here. Nothing. 0 over 10. But it was really, really nice.
It was.
Very proud of her. What else did we end up doing? We went to the house yesterday to eat. That was also a cute one. What else?
I actually ended up going back for Star's sake at the end of the day.
Oh yes, then we went to our friend Shalewa, friend of the house Shalewa, who's dressing us for the live show. She had a pop-up as well. We went there. That was really, really nice. Shalewa is so cute. I think she's the smiliest person.
She actually is so smiley and
she's
fun.
so smiley.
That was really, really
it was nice. Time. It was very cute.
It was a lovely time.
Let me tell you how shameless I am. So Kara's Kitchen's pop-up is interesting in that she doesn't have several vendors.
Yeah.
All the stands you see are just cuisines she makes. So it's all her menu. It's all her. So she has a Jamaican menu, Nigerian menu, all of that stuff. But she doesn't do sweets. So she has like her own, she has different vendors for sweets. Yeah. Excellent. Who also all sold out.
They did. All of them.
Anyway, because I was so shameless, so there was an Ajoje stand.
I can't believe this thing you did.
And Ajoje does like these social dinners and private dinners and private lunches. Excellent stuff, fine. But she also makes for specific things. So she makes jam, butter, bread, brioche rolls, whatever. I want you guys to know that when I found out that she was making bread from Ajoje and putting it in the Ajoje stand, I said, cool. I pretended to be cool, calm, and collected. Yesterday morning, you guys, I woke up and went to sit down. The thing started at 12 p.m. By about 11:30, 11:45, I was seated in front of the Ajoje stand. Those boys had not changed to their uniform for the thing. They had not turned on the POS. They said, Ma, the bread is on its way. And I said, and I will be here. Don't worry. They're like, oh, we don't mean to stress you. I said, do I look stressed? No, I know it's hot, but don't worry. Because I shit you not, I actually went earlier than I was there with people that were setting up.
I want you guys to pay for bread. That in all this, she did not buy me bread.
Why would I buy you the bread?
That's actually what I want to point out.
I bought the bread. Me and Shalewa had made this plan early.
She bought the bread for somebody.
Yeah, Shalewa begged me. I went to Shalewa's house to try on my outfit for the live show.
Bread for Shalewa.
Yes. We did not pay for the live show clothes. Okay. She said, this is what you can do for me. I said, my sister, I'm with you.
No problem. Me now, I don't eat bread. Apparently. I hate bread.
Did you tell me you wanted bread?
It's not about that. Sometimes you can have what they call foresight.
No, I can't.
You can have thought, I'm not getting a Christmas present. Here is brioche.
You have my love.
You could have messaged me saying, I am buying brioche. Who wants?
The only thing I thought you would want there is ogogoro.
And in the end, I actually bought the chili oil and not the ogogoro, to be honest.
Why? You need it.
I do need it.
You did that.
I actually should have bought this. I bought the chili oil, which is really lovely,
Actually, I forgot to get that.
It's actually really, really a lovely one.
I think it's really cool seeing
it was really nice.
Your friends grow. It's lots of fun. I think
so. It's very exciting, like going to something and you're like, wow, this is actually somebody I know.
Yeah.
And having said that, I did suggest lightly, not that lightly, that there should be people who have known me for a long time pass. Just so that we can all understand navigate. I say it's not VIP, no. People who have known me for a long time pass. They just keep one or two things for those who have seen the journey. But honestly, it was really lovely.
It was wonderful.
The food I had, I eventually got banged like mad.
But we were also very silly because who did you think we were strolling in there at 3 o'clock?
We were so dumb.
For the past however many weeks, we have been telling you one thing and one thing only. Nigerian women achieve. As you guys know, the co-founders of Bolden are Nigerian American women who have created fantastic products. Fekemi and I are in love with a number of their products. Their eye patches, dark spot fix, their face wash. a number of fantastic products. And I know that some of our Nigerian listeners have been wondering where you can actually find said products. Feyikemi, where can they find them?
Thank you very much for that question. You can shop Bolden products at MedPlus, Tika 4, Beauty Heart, Nectar Beauty, Cho and Zen in Abuja, and Tulip Body Care in Abuja. If you're outside Nigeria, if you're in the US, you're in Canada, you're in the UK, the rest of Europe, as usual, we are always here being benevolent queens, and we have gotten you a 20% off discount code, which is ISWIS20, to receive 20% off all items on the website. The website is www.boldenusa.com. So please go to it, use our little code, get 20% off. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
12:40.
The time we went was not for food.
It was not for,
it was for social activity.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, when you are investing a lot in your business, I was thinking about this even for us, when you build like a community and you're trying to figure out some of the math. So even when we're talking about, I was talking to one of our potential vendors about drinks for the live show. And that was the first time I'd ever heard a vendor say to me, can you get other vendors who do what I do?
Because it might not be enough.
Yes. And we've worked with them multiple times. And he was just like, look, your audience participates. So they want the full experience. Yeah. And I said, but the problem is that they want more than the full experience. So when you do like a trade show or you go to an event or you're invited somewhere, he's like, cool, they know, giving the numbers, because our numbers are not strange to them. They're like, this is how people buy normally. He said, your people will come. One person will come and say, I need 5 drinks.
Yeah.
But you didn't budget for
one person having
5 drinks or 4 drinks or 3 drinks. And then you get to the 20th person who wants the 3 drinks also. And now you're like,
oh, something is wrong.
So that was the first time I'd ever heard somebody say, pie, you know.
But to be fair,
I know I'm a vendor of this kind.
Yeah, the same vendors have been like, I thought I was prepared, and yet
I doubled my.
I'm been in utter shock.
Yeah, but then I think so. I have a little bit more grace now for people who are just trying to figure that stuff out, because it's also an investment. So you're the one that has to put up the money to do this thing. So you're thinking,
and it needs to sell, maybe not as quick.
Yeah.
It's a fine line, because it sells out too quickly and you've messed up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sell out and you've overinvested.
Yeah.
And so there is like a little balance. But I would encourage anybody coming to our things that first of all, there are a lot of people there and they're active.
Yeah. So we sent an email. By the time you guys see this, we've sent just some housekeeping. You guys just relax. Like sometimes it gets a bit aggressive. Relax. I know you want the food. I know you want the drinks.
Let's just try
relax. We're trying to do better this year in terms of how we manage vendors.
There should hopefully be kind of more touch points.
Yeah, so just
queues that are not as long.
Even with the chairs, just chill. Okay. You see us. You don't need to argue with people, fight with people. If your friend is a dosbe and doesn't get there on time, please stop telling people that the next 7 seats are reserved. Don't do that. Don't do that.
We're not doing that. We're on a first come first.
Don't ruin the P for people.
See, and like you can still participate. There's a moving around that is.
Speaking of my favorite vendor, look at that.
I forgot to even place a specific order for espresso martini. What a damn shame.
Nobody cares about your espresso martini.
People care about my espresso martini. Only 2 people in Lagos can make it.
Really? Who and who? Quacktos and who?
No, I don't say.
You don't say second person. Fair enough. But yeah, so that was a nice weekend. But other than that, Naeto is tomorrow.
Yes, by the time this comes out, it'll be over. But do you know that I've been trying to print an I'ma keep shirts?
I beg Debbie to help you.
Yeah, Debbie, please, can you help me? Because the person that I thought was going to come through for me has failed. Debbie, I want you to say it, let people hear you. Debbie's doing it. She said she's trying. She didn't say she's doing it. She can try. You guys, if you see me nothing and I'm a keep t-shirt, I want you to know that it's Debbie's fault. When you see Debbie outside, I want you to ask her, Debbie, why did you do that?
I think people are excited about the Naeto show, but nobody's excited as Nicole Chikwe.
Nobody.
There is nobody on this earth more excited about that show.
Today that she did a reply video to herself.
As a fan. So she did one as a fan and did one as a wife, and I've never seen a more insane person. Nicole is insane.
I love it so much. because I'm just like, this is the way life ought to be.
Yeah, she's very, very excited.
If my husband is also doing a show, this is actually how I need to behave as well. I'm very excited. You know why? Because I distinctively remember the first time we all really went to the club, Volar.
And it was a Naeto
you guys,
thing.
people were wearing office shirts.
What drink do you want? There's a whiskey sour.
Whiskey sour.
Yeah.
We were in like corporate wear.
Yeah.
Based on Kenny Big Deal, we were actually...
And all the boys had like those buckles with their name.
Men were wearing as in vest, sweater vest on top of their shirt and tie.
You.
It was corporate. Thank you. Kenny Big Deal. And so I'm glad that is happening. I feel like it's just going to be a major nod to childhood. And also what I realized is because that year we had like... I can never forget that time because those CDs were... It was Naeto C's Kenny Big Deal. It was One Day Cole's Bumper to Bumper.
Oh, what a time, man.
Who's WizKid?
So there was a time when it felt like there were lots and lots of...
There was a third thing that was also there.
So
and
the Superstar album.
Bro, it was crazy.
Mushin to Mohit
and
album.
And so those 3 CDs were just... It was play by play by play. And because they were the CDs, you listen to every song. So I know that album... Honestly, I know every single thing inside that thing. And so I'm so happy because... I'm like, this means something.
I really want to go.
And I'm very, very excited about the whole situation. I've been trying to get my family, my family to make it like a family investment.
Get the table.
They're not buying it. They're not buying it at all. They're just like, I don't get what
I know who I'm going to beg for the thing. But I'll be there, Sha. See you all. The thing is that Naeto is also a matured man, so I know that we're not starting too late.
I'm so grateful. Me, I'll be there. Like I already messaged him in all caps that if nobody's gonna be there, I want you to know that I'm gonna be there.
I'm so excited.
Like, man, thank you.
I'm so excited. Oh, is that what the hole is for? I'm so stupid.
Yeah, I was about to say that this is crazy behavior from me because I was
busy opening it. Oh God, they graduate.
And when they were doing the testing of this thing, I was there. Only for me to now see it and not know how it works. It as well. Hello, boys and girls.
Hello, all.
So now we are in Dirty December. There's so much going on. Mm-hmm. The last thing you want is for your transfers to not be going through.
What a disgrace.
What an embarrassment for you. In order to avoid that, here is my best suggestion. Use Me Sam.
Exactly.
Use Me Sam by Bamboo.
And they are so confident that if your transfer is delayed, they said $5 for you.
Yeah. Once your transfer doesn't go through instantly, can collect $5.
Yeah, because December can get quite busy. There's stuff that family is doing, friends are doing, there are emergencies, there are events, lots of holiday chaos, and money delays can ruin those plans. So, Mr. will let people in Canada, the UK, Europe, and Nigeria send and receive money fast to
incredibly
more than 40 countries.
Yeah.
So, Mr. is all about making sure that transfer goes through immediately. You are happy, you are secure, there's peace of mind. And so we want to encourage you to download Missan and make
try it today.
This December season. Just say, let me just even test.
If you want to test it, I can send you my details on Missan. Feel free to test it with me. See how it works out for you. Quick, I'll get the money. I'll let you know when we come back next year.
So download the Missan app and try it today. Enjoy your Dirty December with no hassles.
Bye.
Mwah. Anyway, other than Naeto C, J-Horse, anything else?
What else am I interested in? Wow, AG. I can't believe what he has done.
Yeah, we won't be. Do you know, I'm considering moving my ticket.
And I can't lie. I've never been more concerned.
I'm considering moving my ticket to the next day, which is myself.
And there are like 4 of us that are meant to travel on the day, and we're all like, okay, but how much is it to move the ticket?
Yes.
Because I just feel like, why will he do that?
It's not fair.
It's actually wrong. I messaged him that, hope you know that this is inconsiderate.
I have to have a small board meeting.
Yeah.
But I want to move my
Because
dates.
I'm just like, excuse me, we could have discussed this.
I really want to move my dates. I'm very excited.
I feel like, because when will that happen again? When will you have a full orchestra playing at the National Theatre and AG doing all his albums? I just don't think that that's going to happen
anytime soon.
And London, we were not there. I don't know. For me,
yeah, I think I'm going to move my ticket. I'm deeply considering.
I don't think I have a ticket that can be moved.
No, you don't. You forget about that.
Yeah. I don't think I have a ticket that can be moved. So it's just deeply unfortunate because I'm traveling in the morning. And I'm like, how can it happen? How can it happen?
Oh, man.
What if is it too late to be like, what about guys? What about putting me on the next day's flight? Just like as an error. Maybe I just write to Virgin now. What if you did mistake?
That's exciting. And there's Ty's foodie.
Yeah,
show.
I'm ready. I'm very excited.
Our live show. But do you know what's so funny? What I'm really, really excited about is our party. Like I love the live show.
I'm very excited about the party.
But the thing is that
it's low fat. I find the party low effort for me because like I just have to be there.
And I enjoy so
we're not doing anything. We just obviously we have to walk around and do a bit of mingling, but that's quite fun.
Yeah, that one is always fun. We still have food vendors and drinks vendors. But the thing is, for somebody who I realized that I don't go clubbing as much anymore. And I mean there's weddings and stuff, but dancing is a thing I love. Faking and I really have enough dancing. Parties. Yeah, we don't have enough. We don't have people are not throwing. I feel like when we were younger, everyone was throwing a party. Like at all times, any small thing, somebody's having a party. Families were having a lot more Christmas, not day party. But now, like in December, I'm going to fewer people's like houses for family parties. It's all events and things, and I wonder what that shift is. Whereas I would say maybe 5-6 years ago, I was also so having a party in their house in December, just like a New Year's party, Christmas party. There were a bunch of parties. Yeah, I'm very excited.
For like we don't know what we're wearing. But
after I figuring it out,
but I'm excited.
Carousel expect that bill, but I'll be. I think I have an idea of what I want to wear.
You guys should do Santa Claus for us. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
But, shifting all that, we're going to have fun, blah, fucking blah. How was the year?
Wow, that was a real segue. Do you know, I wanted us to do like the year analysis, but I was like, it will be jarring if we do it. The scores will be so bad.
Like what we did for the halfway one last year. No, thank you. I thought about it and I said, nope.
No, there's no point. There's no need to go into it, all that. The year was very hard. I can't lie. It started with like glimmers of hope. And I would say though, the podcast was kind of a highlight in that the podcast is probably the only thing that went better than planned. Or even let's even start with according to plan. All other areas like this, they did not go according to plan. So they didn't have a chance of even going better than planned. So that is what I would say, that honestly, in the podcast, we did a lot of great stuff. Outside of that, this year was horrible. So I have to be so frank. Yeah, I'm not into it at all. I'm actually not into it at all. Like even the reflection, I was reflecting the other day and I was like, this is a horrible reflection.
Do you get emotional up or down when you're reflecting? Because there's like reflecting and just trying to be a bit more like removed. So you stand outside of yourself and you're looking at what has happened. Are you able to do that, or are you inside the reflection? And does it get you like
I'm typically in both. So I'm inside the reflection, but then when it's like hard things, I dissociate and I'm outside. But let me know, like from all angles, it looks bad.
Really?
So it's not, I don't have a like, some people look at things and they're like, well, what is the silver lining? I'm like, wow, this was really horrible.
No.
Before I get to silver is a long time. So yeah, no, it wasn't my year is what I would say. Even though it didn't look, I was looking through like my, you scroll through pictures and you see month to month. It's like, it didn't look bad, like visually.
Yeah.
But
I also recently learned something about you that made everything make sense.
What?
From dinner. No, I'm not going to say it.
Oh, okay.
But from dinner that made everything make sense. But I think that, I don't know. I find that I only know how to be inside the emotion in one way, which is negative. So I never relate.
I don't know how to
reflect the positive ones.
Perfect.
I don't know how to bring out that joy.
Exactly.
So I'm looking at good things that have happened through the year and I don't relieve the joy.
Yeah.
But you see any negative
like I skip over it quickly.
Do you know what time it is? Time for tears. Let's get into it, baby.
This is the time for lessons and reflections. But I totally agree that I was like, because when I got to obviously summer, I was looking at all from where we traveled to, and I was like, oh my, this was a lot. And that was very brief in my reflection moment.
Something happened this week that I'm quite grateful for in a weird way. So a friend of mine called me to be like, hey, she wanted to talk to me about something. And it was like, I had an expectation you didn't meet. And it was very useful. I don't know how to explain it.
Really?
Yes. It was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was extremely useful in that I like, and it's this friend in particular, she's very good at communicating. And it was the way she did it. And it wasn't, it
didn't make you feel bad.
No, it did, but not, it wasn't bad in it, like I'm a terrible person. It was more like, this is what you should have done. And I was like, do you know what? You're actually right. And then it helped me think. But then it also, because of the timing it happened, it also made me quickly look through, like I scanned through my mind for a couple of things and I quickly made some corrections.
Right.
Because I realized that it was, what made me drop the ball there was something I apply regularly. Do you understand what I mean? It's you saying, oh, Jola, I expect you to do X.
Yeah.
But because I think what I'm doing is
normal. You keep doing it.
I keep doing it. And so I was able to
just quickly adjust.
Because of the phone call, I sat down and I was like, that was a hard phone call. But this is something that I do all the time.
Yeah.
And when I say quickly, it was so useful.
What, did it just apply to them or to like
No,
people?
It's a people thing. It's something that I do with people in general. It's a people thing. And I was just like, I didn't now want to say thank you because it would have been belaboring the point. But it was so useful.
That's so interesting. I haven't had one of those types of things in a while.
No, it was so useful and it was so important.
But I think they're really good, like friendship markers.
Yeah.
When you actually have those. All the times that I've had like a significance. Actually, you know what am I saying? Yesterday, someone had said something early in the day. And honestly, they were joking. But I just kept, it kept coming up in my mind. And I kept being like, why would they make this joke? But not in like a bad way. Genuinely in a, why would you make this joke? And so at like 1 a.m., I was just like, sorry, but why did you make this joke? Like actually, I'm very curious. And we had a conversation. I mean, it was easy, but it was even at Kewa's thing. I was just like, why did you say that? And then we had a talk and they're just like, oh, it wasn't intentional. It was honestly just a thing that was said. But I was like, please.
Don't say it again.
Don't say it again.
It's good.
It was very much top of mind. And I was like, this is so... And it wasn't even like public. It was just me and them just thing. And they made the joke to me.
Yeah.
But it was about me. And I just thought, how did you say that? And I kept wondering why I'm thinking about it. But it kept coming up. And it was that kind of thing where I knew it was an off-the-cuff comment. So I kept thinking, should I say something?
But I think you're feeling uncomfortable.
But me, I was like, this is how many hours later, and I'm still on it.
So just say something.
So I just messaged. I was just like, actually, this is actually my friend, and they will not take it anyway. And I know, and I started the message by saying, I actually know you enough to know that you did not mean this in any way, and I don't take this anyway. But I actually need to understand why. You mean, and we had a chat and it was fine.
Do you know what I also realized from Kera's kitchen thing? I need to be better with my friends who have children.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
So it's a thing. People laugh when I say it, but I feel strongly that a lot of babies don't like me.
Jola, please.
I'm being serious.
What have the babies discussed?
No. From toddlerhood.
Yeah, saying like the babies have had a meeting.
They did. From toddlerhood, they think I'm like, I think they think of me as a little like insane auntie. No problem. But I think babies are not really like big fans of mine. And I'm anxious around babies, like small children. They seem breakable. Yeah. Right. Toddlers are the ones that look elastic. But babies are very breakable. I'm very anxious around them. But yesterday, I saw a couple of my friends with their children. And even acquaintances that I really like. We're not friends, but we're friendly enough that if I said, hey, are you... like, do you need a bit of a break? Do you want me to come and watch?
It would be okay. Take it. And like you with their child would not be a wild
Yesterday, I saw a number of them looking harassed under the sun with their babies. And I was like, I need to make more of an effort with my friends that have children.
Yeah, kind of like...
And like engage with said, not even about them, but even with said offspring.
Child, yeah.
Particularly because of the conversation we had last week about building community, in-person community, but with the added inconvenience. So I've decided that that's one of my things next year.
Yes, because what I realized recently is I don't know. Obviously, I know my friends' children, but I don't like have individual relationships with the children.
Yes.
Like I see them because I'm there to see your mom or your dad. And for me, I'm like, this is somehow because all my family friends now are my mommy's friends' children. And they packed us together. We didn't even cuckoo have a choice of knowing them. But what I think about now is, but all them parents, I have individual relationships with their parents to the point where I can be like, I can go to lunch with your mommy. And it won't be awkward because we grew up together. Like she was also a big part of my growing up. But I'm realizing that for me, I'm not as much a part of my friends' children's growing up. And so there's like, not a line, but it happened the other day. They were going somewhere and we were like 6 speaking and 3 people in the 4 people in the group had kids. And so they were talking about, they're going to go to so and so with the kids. And the rest of us were just kind of like, I don't get, why didn't you invite us? And they were like, we didn't think you would want to come. Aww. Like, because obviously the kids would be there and they'll be like running around. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh my God, I actually I'm not the auntie that can take the kids out.
Oh.
And
did you feel a way about that?
I did, only because I had so many aunties that could take us out. Like my mom and her friends could rotate. It wasn't a case where all of them had to be there when all of us were there. 2 people could be there when all of us were there, when 5 people's children were there, and they'll be fine because we actually knew them. And I'm now trying to be like, okay, just as a personal thing, to take it more seriously.
Yeah, something for me next year.
To know obviously not everybody, but like enough my actual people. Close friends. I'm like, there's actually no reason why your children should not know me by name. Why am I always reminding them what my name is?
Or have a thing. So what made me think about it was I had a thing with different uncles and aunties. So I have one uncle in particular, and I know somebody's going to send this to him. Uncle Humphrey. Uncle Humphrey was very boisterous, very funny, very loud. But my thing with Uncle Humphrey was the one that would spoil me. Oh, yeah. So he had 3 boys.
Yeah.
And no girl in the house, just him and his wife. Uncle Humphrey is the one that will hear in passing, Jola wants, it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
Then I had an uncle that was very like, kind of, not academic, because he knew I loved reading. He was always, so you met Larry at my birthday. So Larry's dad, our neighbor, was the one who gave me my first Chimamanda novel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he knew I liked reading. So I remember it being a thing. He was like, Jola, I bought this book for you. Even when I see him now, we'll still talk about stuff like that. He was that uncle. I had aunties that were fashion queens. I had aunties that would take us out to eat. I had aunties that their whole thing was they would write you letters or they would call.
Yeah, like it was a lot. Yeah. And I mean, what am I saying? This week I've spoken to your dad and his brother on the phone just for no real, and
it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm just like,
the only reason I know they had that conversation was because my dad came to tell me. Fekimi was like, Jola, can you help me thank your dad? He did XYZ.
Yeah,
and I was like, lovely to see that you have a relationship.
The next day, my uncle called me and I was like, this is great. I love that. You are just calling me. Me, I have to really go and see your uncle. He was like, I thought you said when you come back from Abuja. I said, Uncle, the thing is that.
Anyway. You know what kills me about my uncle, and he really needs to come on this podcast. You guys, you see where my behavior comes from.
No, he really needs to. He told us he wrote a dilemma.
Yeah, this guy was like, every time I pick up the phone, my uncle will say, hey, I have a dilemma.
Yeah,
my 33-year-old niece doesn't think I'm cool enough to answer. I'm like, Uncle
his dilemma is that, is it okay if your niece and her friend have a podcast and they don't acknowledge you?
That uncle,
and he also added, and they went on tour and they didn't give you anything.
No,
on the tour. I was like, Uncle, is this why you called me?
Uncle Tunde is so interesting.
Lovely lad.
But I want to develop a relationship with my friends' children.
Yeah.
That's a thing for me.
I think it's very important because I'm like, I have it with so many uncles and aunties, especially a lot of my friends' parents. I'm like, I can actually come to your house and not talk to you at all. Like, there's so many of my friends that I'm like, I don't actually have to speak to you.
Yeah, your mom or your dad.
I'll be so happy just chilling with them.
I feel like I have I have one friend whose parents are just really, really like.
Yeah.
I really like them.
Yesterday, I went to one of my friends' and I had glasses of gin with her mom, and we were just on the dining table, and she came later and she was like, "So what are the two of you doing?"
Having fun.
My dear, she called me, not you. It's just that you live here. She called me like, how far? We haven't seen you in a while. I was like, I'm coming over. My auntie was like, she has gin. I said, I heard you have gin. And we moved she came down and was like, I don't understand why you're on my dining table with my mom
that's
drinking.
So
and I thought, that's your fault. That's your business.
But
so yeah.
An extension of that is having an extension of that with like basically our generation is that if your friend is going through something, their parents might have anxieties they don't feel comfortable saying to your friend, but they tell you.
I've never even thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
very bad.
Like one of my friends was having like fertility things.
Yeah.
And her mom, I was just talking to her mom, and her mom said, has X been talking to her? I said, oh yeah, do you mean about this? She was like, yes. She said, that's something that she's anxious about now is because of her personality. She feels like she's constantly putting her foot in it, like she's not as careful with how she talks.
Yeah.
And she basically saying, has she said anything to you about it that do you? And I said, no, I don't think so. I think she understands that you would never have that kind of intention. She's like, yes, so, but also like, are we praying?
Yeah.
You know, and I realized that these are not conversations she feels. She just thinks I'll be irritating this girl.
Yeah.
If I come and say this thing. So she was just asking, I was like, oh yeah, she's anxious about it, and it's not just her and her husband. And she's like, okay, what do you think we can do? I said, auntie, if your time has passed, you can't carry the baby for us. So just be praying, man.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting the way they see things. Another cute thing that happened yesterday at random is, and the person is, we're friendly. I wouldn't even say we're friends. She's even more your friend. Her husband came out was like, I haven't met you, and I think that's just somehow like we know each other. And he was like, anyway, officially, this is me and this is you, because we were like, hi. We were like, it's very awkward that we haven't actually like had a conversation, and we had a chat for like 10 minutes, and he was like, hey, now at least,
Speaking of which,
because I'm like, I always see you talking to my wife.
Fekemi, I have something important to say.
Okay.
For one reason and one reason only. Please stay with me. I need to marry.
Okay.
I need to marry. Do you know why?
Where are we going?
So I went to the Rendell pop-up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a valid reason.
I went to the Rendell pop-up, you guys, and I saw something amazing. I saw women coming in with men of the husband nature, which was fine. The husband doesn't care too much. Rennie has some t-shirts that are like unisex. So a lot of the husbands bought that because the shirts are really cute. But then I noticed something. They'll get to the till. All of a sudden, the wife's eye will just go up. She will move back. As a matter of fact, she'll hand him things and send him. I said, I see the benefit. No,
it's a serious benefit. Because you who are husbandless, you carried your own things to the till by yourself. You had to start opening your phone, bringing out your card. Oh, disgusting. Just a nasty process.
I said, baby, where the hell is my husband?
Husbands standing in the corner when it was time for them to step up. They call them into the ring. It's your time.
I need it.
It's your time.
Maybe I'll keep him in the freezer till the next pop-up. But honestly, I need a husband.
Crucially important, honestly.
I couldn't believe I saw the first one. I saw it happen. I said, this is love. I saw the second one. I said, this seems... By the fourth one, I said, it's a pattern.
And it's husband. Ordinary boyfriend.
But the husband...
Dicey. But you see your husband that we've been betrothed in front of many people. Oh, my dear, you go to pay. You go to pay. The problem with boyfriend is anything can happen to that relationship. So you must move with care. By the time we're already for better, this is worst. For better, for worse, we're already here. This is now what's coming up.
Yeah.
So you must. So I think it's actually crucial and very essential.
Another funny thing happened yesterday. I bumped into a friend that I was convinced I had offended because she didn't invite me to her wedding in a very interesting way. So we were just chatting. She now said, oh yeah, the wedding. And I said, oh, that I would have come. You didn't invite me. She said, are you mad? You guys, she opened our chat. She had invited me.
Stop.
Months ago. As a matter of fact, I said, hey, we moved.
Then you didn't go.
Because of the time, she's very type A. So she had, some people, they send you 2 months in advance.
Yeah.
Was far. So I just thought she hadn't invited me. The way I've been begging her since, I said, Joma, no. First of all, you know me. Any opportunity for free, I'm there. I'm there. Forget about the love.
I can't believe it.
I had to apologize. I'm still going to go and visit her soon and to just tell the husband that actually I have good character. I know you've heard a lot about me, but I want you to know that I have excellent character and I'm a good girl.
Please, I want to report 2 of my friends. I don't even want to say their name. Those silly Abuja boys I have. So I said, based on this kind of issue that you mentioned about husband, I said to them, would it not be prudent if the 2 of you always claim you are men of men? Do you know what I mean? You people have network.
They do though.
2 men, I know that they live in Abuja. They are my friends. If you know them, help me insult them, please. Now, I messaged them. I said, guys, we have an issue. They said, I don't like, what the hell are you talking about? I said, I need to fall in love by December 31st in order to enter the new year with this kind of husband person, because there are a lot of things I want to purchase. Okay? And I need somebody who's betrothed to me in marriage, sworn to God. Okay? To love me as Christ loved the church, actually, in a sacrificial way, which means they must spend. So I said, we need to fast track this whole thing. And so what I need them to do is, each of them, I need them to produce for me 2 candidates. And both of their responses were not appropriate. The first one said he doesn't get. The second one now said that, I don't understand. That, look, anyway, he was laughing and I was like, this is why. I now said, guys, this is why they don't share things with friends. And this boy said, friendship, you're supposed to share light burdens. You're supposed to share light burdens. Now, what kind of burden is it for us to find somebody like you in 2 weeks that the men we move with were trying to improve their lives? Do you know how long it will take to convince somebody of your character? They said, if you think in 2 weeks we can convince somebody that no, just overlook all this, the way she is.
Do you think,
underneath that, I said, what do you mean this is a heavy burden?
Do you think up to 5 people can adequately like introduce you to someone and you'd be like, you would trust the...
No.
It's not up to 5, you hear me?
Okay, you name the 5.
No. I don't mean the human beings.
I don't mean the human beings. I mean the people that would do the introduction.
I can introduce you to someone.
Okay, why haven't you?
No, I don't know now. I don't know them. I don't know them. No, like,
my challenge is the ones that know them. So I had to reflect that. Is it so bad?
No, but do you think you have up to 5?
They were like, see, this thing, we can't do it in 2 weeks.
No, do you think you have up to 10 friends?
Not 10.
5?
Maybe 3. Maybe
just 3?
I think so.
So the only thing people that if they say, oh, someone I want you to meet.
I think up to 5 for you.
That's not what I'm talking about now. Do you think so?
I actually think it's like 3. Because honestly, they were like, it's not that we can't do it, but they were like, this time frame is ridiculous. Because they were like, look, the last time we tried it,
it ended up in a bit of
shambles.
I
was like, okay, but that's just one time. You guys can always try again. They're like, hey, no, please. That they have to even first prepare his mind. And I was like, guys, I'm actually not
that bad.
I'm actually a lovely girl. They're like, it's not about you not being a lovely girl. It's about the expectations, the manner of approach. To be honest, I understood a lot of things. And this is the problem with sharing things with friends. I've told them, they were now naming for me. Shabi said you went on one date with this guy. He wore 1 jeans. You say, you're not going to date him. So they were like, before they prepare somebody, don't wear boot cuts. Don't do this. Don't do that. I said, wow, maybe I need to reflect on my character. Who knows? No, I don't think there's
up to 5.
I don't think there's up to 5 that will get it right. So.
No, not get it right, but like, I mean, like, if you heard they were making an attempt,
why not?
If you heard this one were making an attempt, you won't be like, please don't worry.
No, okay, no, they're up to 5. They're up to 5, okay, I think. Good. They're up to 5. Now, I wonder if I would trust more women or men's judgment on the matter. Probably not.
You don't?
Women, if it's their own personal close friend, yes. Otherwise, men. The reason is because men that I'm close to, I'm always shocked at the way they are truly.
Are you guys following? Because I'm now confused.
Think about what I'm saying. Men that I'm not close to, because of men that I'm close to, and I realize the difference between who they are close up and who they are generally. I cannot trust the recommendation of you saying, this is a guy that I'm not very close to, that I'm recommending for you, because you don't know him that well. But you see men, all their pants, they've seen it. Men, they already know. And that's why they are saying, because there are guys that I have been like, oh, this guy messaged me. And one of my guy friends is like, my sister.
Do you know, I just remembered, this was years ago. I said, oh, someone was showing interest in me. And I told a guy friend, that's like a mutual between both of us. And he said, my sister, let's just stop. The hunger will kill you. I said, I don't understand. He said, this guy is allergic to any hard work. That you'll be angry every day. I said, I don't care. Like he says to be working. He said, no, he's working because he's in the system where everything is working for him. He said, no, this one, any small inconvenience, he will say he can't.
You see what I'm saying?
And you'll be annoyed. I said,
now, I find that unless you're very close to a guy, you won't know that.
You won't know that, yeah.
Like guys that I'm just friendly with, like we're friends, we're good friends, but we're not very close. I find that when I see what they do in relationship, I'm always shocked. The ones I'm very close to, I could go know that I can't introduce you to them. But like others, that's why it's a someone at least twice that I'm like, oh, this guy collected my number. And one of my guy friends is like, oh, so what do you want to do? What does he want to do with the number? My friend, please, let's move on. Are you a serious fellow?
What a damn.
Yeah, and I'm like, now wow, everybody was saying this is a lovely lad. All the babes are excited that this is a great catch. And the guys are like, please.
Another random thing that happened. So Moturayo, who's our friend who owns the brand MOC, the label, please shop there.
She's our friend.
She's our friend and you must shop there.
And that gold jumpsuit. I want to shout out to her and the new gold jumpsuits together.
But please. I bumped into her and she was with her husband. And her husband, it was so cute because I don't really know him. I mean, I've seen him a couple of times, but I don't really know him. And he goes, I hear your voice in my house very often. And then her daughter was on FaceTime. So I say hi to her daughter and the way her daughter reacts, she was like, no, don't worry. We hear and see you in the house very often. So she's used to you. I thought that was so cute.
That's really lovely.
So sweet. Because the way her husband did, he was like, oh, no, I know you. You're in our house very often.
Really
I know you. And I just thought that was very, 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 very cute.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about like hopes for next year?
I think we should. You start.
But no.
Before we do that, let's do life.
Generally, let's do dilemmas first.
Sure.
Let's deal with other people's issue. Let's deal with their issue. All right.
Can you please?
All right. This is why I don't drink. Please tell me the second one.
You don't finish the first one.
Let's not worry about
You know that I actually understand how you start with the Elizabeth in your...
I love it.
In your...
If you guys are wondering what an Elizabeth is, it's like it's a sweet Long Island.
It's a dangerous...
And it's a dangerous thing.
In the cocktails repertoire, I'm going to say it's one of the 3 more dangerous things.
This is why you're my favorite staff
you
member.
can do. And I have to say that for me, Jola starting with this is always so crazy. Because I'm like, you don't even ease yourself. Look at me now, I'm having a whiskey sour. I'm on a journey. Whatever. Yeah, I'm on a journey. This babe started in Elizabeth. Then you want to have 2. Your eye will not be clear.
It can't be. And that's what I'm going for.
It can never be clear. Meanwhile, Jola gave me one sparkling wine.
Oh, no,
lovely.
It's mad.
Oh my God.
It's mad.
And that thing, shout out to Tolly, she told me a thing about putting a spoon in the bottle and putting it in the freezer. It works like mad.
Really?
I had sparkling wine yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Lovely.
Fine.
Anyway,
I'll
very
put another
lovely
one for us to share on the stage at the podcast live show.
Shocking from you, but really lovely. Really lovely.
Okay, I think I'm going back to Cape Town, so I think I want to bring more when I'm coming back.
This
okay, well, let's start with a bit of a serious one. This person is called Lola.
Okay.
Who says, growing up, my brother and I were very close. Recently, he got married and his wife is way more conservative in terms of family relations. I understand he's building his new family and all that. However, recently, I found out she came to a city I was in, and although I vaguely knew she might be around. When my brother told me, it was almost like he was keeping a secret or something. Honestly, I feel a bit sad that I've lost my brother anyway. I won't blame anyone for the dynamics. It's just sad that soon I'll be the father side of the family, and that's heartbreaking. What do you think?
Ooh, not the dad side. That's so awkward.
Do you know what I think it is? So, I saw a Reddit thing where a woman was talking about how it wasn't Reddit, it was TikTok. Her husband was very upset. And he comes to her and he's like, oh, we do a lot of things with your side of the family. Why don't we ever do things with my side of the family? And she said, because I ask my side of the family what's going on. So I know when my nephew's ball games are, and I know when my mom is having friends over and she needs some help. And I know, so because I keep up with my side of the family, I know what's going on. The thing is, you expect me to keep up with your side of the family. And she said since then, there's been such a marked improvement because he generally seems on a weekly basis to ask his siblings and his family, you know, what's kind of going, is there anything going on this week, so that we can be involved. So if his brother's kids have then like a recital, they can be involved. And the thing is, domestic arrangement is seen as a woman's purview. So a lot of men don't really, they think that, so even with, have you ever dated anybody and had to ask him if he's bought his mom a birthday card? Right? It sounds small.
And I'm always like, I don't get why this isn't top of mind.
Or what did you buy your mommy for her birthday? Or you said your mommy has surgery.
And they're looking at you like, and I'm like, guy, what are you doing?
The thing is, you need to get your brother to invest in the family in a domestic way. That makes it clear that being involved in his side of the family's life is not optional. So
and
at the moment it seems optional, and it has to be him
because I don't think
not her job.
The burden is honestly not on her to be in the city you are and reach out. She can, no. If she's that type of person, she can. But honestly, I will always take my cue from your own, the sibling. If I'm with somebody and they don't call their sister
or
say
even like
this, like I'm around, I'm actually not going to override their head.
Or even just
be doing too much.
Figuring out ways to encourage the friendship, right? So for instance,
also try, maybe take her to lunch or something.
So for instance, like men who have wives that have sisters always laugh about their sisters are in they're around. You see them a lot, right? I was recently around someone who he's dating, let's say me and FK, my sisters, he's dating FK. But me and FK are very close. And I am now his friend. Because
of the proximity
and the way that they organize their lives. And I think people don't realize that thing takes work and intention.
You actually have to try.
And
you have to try because it matters to you. But like, don't be weird. Is the thing I would say in the trying, because there's a way that you can be that it is like, excuse me, I saw a brother. Sometimes I'm like, please, madam, please, everybody know what they're doing in this situation.
I
think you should try.
Drama.
Okay, because I have one that's a bit fun. You go.
So this person says their name is a big fan of the podcast, and they even titled the dilemma. It's called Living in My Own Shadow.
It's very dramatic, I have to say.
This person says, hi everyone, Jules and FK. Welcome back to the show. Very, very dramatic. Today, I want to share something very personal and I've carried for years. And honestly, I hope someone out there can help me or has the words of wisdom to make sense of it. I'm 24 years old and my story starts way back before I could even understand what's going on. My parents split up when I was about 2 and I grew up with my mom and stepfather for most of my life, which was my whole world. No cousins, aunties, extended family, mostly alone. My relationship with my biological dad is very complicated. I would speak to someone on the phone who I later realized was my father, but I didn't properly meet him till I was 7 or 8. And after that, the connection wasn't that strong. Everything in my childhood felt scattered, confusing, and full of gaps. When my mom passed 4 years ago, that's when a lot of painful truths came out. I started putting 2 and 2 together. Things that I'd ignored as a child really made sense. It turned out my mom had cheated on my dad and left him. And the divorce dragged on for more than 7 years. I didn't know all of this growing up. I just lived in the middle of everyone's decisions. My stepfather wasn't a great father either, especially during my mom's final days. And there was cheating, disrespect, insults, all of that. Jeez.
It's a lot.
Watching her go through all of that was something I didn't fully understand yet again till I learned the truth later. So after my mom died, I reconnected with dad and he explained everything. And now I'm struggling with something I don't know how to describe. I feel like I have to forgive my mom, and I don't know if I've processed it. I've pushed everything aside, especially the thought that she didn't say anything to me before she passed. Now, my stepmom is amazing, very loving, super peaceful. No problems there at all. But the problem comes from my mom's side of the family and sometimes even my dad's side. It feels like I can't talk freely about my past or even mention my mom without people projecting her life story onto me. There's a Yoruba saying that's translated as a child always follows the footsteps of their mother. And it feels like people keep trying to put that label on me and judge me based on her mistakes, even though they don't know me personally. They knew her. They don't know me. But they treat me like I'm in her shadow. And it hurts a lot because I don't want to be seen as her story. Her choices and her mistakes are her own. And I want to be my own person. But it's hard when people keep rewriting your life based on someone else. So my question today is simple, but not simple. How do you break free from the shadows of your parents? And how do you build your own identity when family expectations, assumptions, and old stories define who you are? And how do you forgive someone who isn't here to explain themselves anymore?
Oh, this is layered and dynamic. First of all, I'm so sorry that your mom passed away. That is a tough one. The truth is, unfortunately, her mom isn't here for like her own, for that closure of this is now your story. Luckily, she was able to have it with her dad. And also luckily, her stepmom is like lovely. But it's just an internal thing you're going to have to do. The forgiveness is not, there's no feedback you're going to get. It's just a decision that you make and then you carry on with. And I think it's important that you do make it because it's coloring your memory
of mommy,
of her. And it's also making people like recognizing the ways you're similar seem all negative just because she made this one mistake in her marriage and everything, which is never the full story of like who she was as a person, you know. So it's not great that you found out she cheated on your dad and all of that, but that is not your entire relationship with her. It's just coloring it. So I think you have to make the decision by yourself and appreciate that you're not going to get any feedback from that. But it's important for you to do it to be able to step out. And for the thing of the shadow, if her mom's side and your dad's side are actually kind of putting labels on you that you don't think are warranted, I think you need to say something.
I was going to say that.
At 24, you're actually not too young to start speaking up for yourself.
And learning to stand up for yourself is like a muscle. So you have to train it. You're not going to become 28 and know how to say, Auntie, I don't appreciate that comment. Or what are you trying to say? I find that there are cultures where passive bullying is a thing. Where under the guise of interest or concern, family can bully, or people who are close to you can bully you, and they use like your family history to make judgments on you. And I think you are unfortunate in this. You're unfortunate in that your mom is not here to back you up and help you, so you have to do it yourself. But you're fortunate in that there's no one for aunties to call if you're rude. Right? So if you say, sometimes, do you know, something as simple as asking an auntie, what are you trying to say? Shuts them up. Because sometimes
it does, because they don't expect you
flex
to
adult muscles because they want you, they know that you keep quiet. Culturally, you're supposed to keep quiet. So if you say, Auntie, what are you trying to say? You know, what are you trying to say? And you just keep quiet. Don't fill in the space. Don't feel the need to say, because I think you say, Auntie, what are you trying to say? And wait for her to answer you. What are you trying to imply? You don't know me like that. Why would you say that about me? If my mommy was here, would you say that to her face?
Would you say it to her? Will you say it about me?
We say it about me. And so it's things like that teach the family boundaries, unfortunately. And if you have a great relationship with your stepmother, it's not her place to, this is kind of techie. She can't help you with that. But I think you shouldn't feel weird in basking in that motherly love because you need it. If you don't have a great relationship with your dad and you have a stepmom who's around and present, like enjoy that relationship. Don't feel guilty.
It doesn't say anything about you. About you,
you're 24 and this is like that's a weird age. You're an adult, but you're still so young and you're trying to figure your life out and you found out all these big things. But then you also need to remember that your mom is a human being.
She is, and she'll have her own story.
It would have been nice for her to have like a perfect story, but she didn't, but she's still a human being. So something happened and I was telling my mom that, you know, this is what happened and El Scandalo, blah, 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 blah. My mom says it's so funny because what made her generation lucky was that it was inside newspaper.
I'm telling you.
So it was City People, Encomium, you know, some of those like raggy magazines and it would come and go. But for you guys, a scandal would live on the internet. She said anything, somebody slept with somebody else, man, it was in Encomium. It was all there. But our generation has this thing where our shame is everlasting.
Yeah. Because
someone can refer or Google. But people are people. When you get older and you start understanding certain gist, you're like, word. You hear stuff that some of your aunties or uncles did.
And like, okay, now.
So that's a human being, not just
like,
this.
This is the context.
Not a paragon of virtue, just a person. So your mom made a mistake. She made a decision that changed like the trajectory of your life, but that's just her living her own life. And she She atoned for it. Whether the marriage ended, she raised you well. You were not neglected. It's just other people have decided to hang you on
your head.
So no, you have to
I think you have to speak up, and honestly, the forgiveness decision is actually you on your own.
Okay.
So I had one, but I've seen one that is just so silly that I
please
must
go ahead.
Say. This person says, friend of the fool that shouted, I said what I said. Hi, FK and Jola and guests. Love the pod. In fact, I love it so much that I always talk to my friends about you guys, which is actually how this problem started. I saw Jola at Kewa's kitchen and in moments of excitement waved and said hi. Unfortunately, the useless friend I was with then started shouting, EYESWIS. Please, I want to apologize for the fool. I actually blame myself because I do usually say EYESWIS instead of ISWIS or the full name. Shame wear me Ankara because I know how much you guys hate this. Please no vex. I don't even know him like that. Just a fool I met like 10 years ago who I haven't been able to shake you or just trying to show love in the worst way possible. Anyway, love you guys. See you at the Lagos Live.
It was actually cute because I remember this exactly. It was when we were coming in. And so she waits and the guy goes, EYESWIS. And I didn't mind. So the thing is, I actually don't mind. I rarely ever mind.
Honestly, so many people came over. I was like, I know you guys hate this. And I was like, we don't.
As long as you're like polite,
I know you don't like people saying hi. I was like, I promise you, it's not that deep.
We don't mind.
Just say the hi. I was like, from the moment there's a tone in which they just say FK that I know where you are from. And I'm like, it's fine. Honestly, it's part of it. It's part of it.
This is just
so funny.
The thing we don't like is when our friends are around us.
Oh, that's awful. Because then they just start laughing. Or like walking away. Yesterday, as I was walking into Chaos Kitchen, one girl was walking out. And so she stopped and she said, hi. You see the way my friends had gone. And they were like, you're always, I don't even know. And I just thought, you people are deeply, deeply rude. Anyway, the other one I had,
Are you looking for it?
I'm looking for it, but I've seen another thing.
No, feel free. So our last episode of the year, we can do what we want.
I'm like, this is super interesting. Okay, I'm going to read this other one. A great lioness, please, dear. Hello, my pillars of strength right now, FK and Jules. I would love for you to be so for real.
Do you know what? Actually, I want a poster. Where is it, Sweeney? I want a poster that shows me an FK and then you may do a pillar.
Based on pillars of strength.
Pillars of strength.
In society. I don't understand. Please, can someone side we remove this, David? Tell Teresa why in the episode she's messaging me about plenty things, my dear. That's also water, prosecco. I'm like, girl. Anyway, hello, my pillars of strength right now, FK and Joss, and all the beautiful people in the studio. That's you lot. I need your honest take because I'm seriously considering ending my relationship.
Oh no!
This is a great lioness. Don't forget. My boyfriend and I are both Igbo. He's wealthy now, but comes from a background of financial instability. His family has repeatedly lost and made money. Ooh. I come from a very financially structured family. My parents involved lawyers and accountants before they had kids, and all family assets are held in irrevocable trust. Okay.
I love dealing with a rich nigga.
I love a rich bitch. Okay. Not a trust. Okay. Irrevocable trust for me and my siblings. That upbringing shaped how I view marriage and children. Now that marriage is on the table, I told him I want lawyers, an accountant, a prenup, clear discussions about debts and assets, family planning, and long-term security before we proceed. Okay. To me, this is about protecting ourselves. Please, that's protecting you, dear. And our future children. He feels that all of that is unnecessary and says we should leave it in God's hands and handle things as they come. That response worries me deeply. One sec. Who's in these documents?
Me.
Okay. On top of that, his siblings constantly joke that his money can take care of their kids too. Constantly joking as well. And they tease me for being too strict or too concerned about money, even though I make my own and have assets in my own name. These jokes give me serious anxiety. I recently asked for space because he seems more excited about the wedding than the marriage. Oh. Since then, he's been calling and contacting my friends, family, and even my co-founder to pressure me, which made things worse. I want to end this relationship because I can't imagine bringing children into the world without intentional planning and stability. My question is, Am I being too rigid? Or am I seeing a fundamental mismatch in values before it's too late? And signed off an intentional woman.
You sure
and
are,
also
honey.
a great lioness. I hate your guts. Anyway, as pillars of strength, where do we go from here?
I think you're not being dramatic. So, for instance, when she was saying all these things, all I thought is, who can I trust my 100K?
Jola, I want to put 500K in an irrevocable trust.
God help me, Nadaya Deo.
Someone the other day was like, "Oh, do you think about your will?" I said, "Oh, like right there."
My banky cuckoo trouser.
I want to leave 40 jumpsuits too.
No, but you're not being. So this is the thing. If you
I don't think you're actually doing too much, and I think it's just go ahead.
If you're with someone who grew up unstable financially, they're used to flying by the seat of their pants.
They're used to anything can happen.
Yes, and so planning long term sometimes feels anxious because you've never been stable enough to plan long term.
You've never had long term.
So I remember one time I was supposed to do a savings thing, and someone was like, "Oh, for instance, she saves 1.8 million every month, which she thinks I can do." I said,
"How would you?"
I said, "How will
you do it?
How do they usually do it? Because just tell me, is it juju or money doubling? How do they usually do it?" But it's that thing where, and she was so certain that 1.8 million minimum is coming in every month, enough to save. So when you're saying trust, the man is just thinking from year to year, I can't tell you what's happening. So I don't know where
I'm
this
having
is coming
a good
from.
year now, but I don't know. But I think it's also an approach thing. Because,
yes, I was going to say. Yeah. Did you go there with a list and say, "Nah, this is jiggy"?
Because even the way I read the list you wrote, even me, I was feeling somehow. By the time she said prenup, long-term financial plan, lawyer, accountant, family plan, even me, I'm feeling under pressure, and I'm not in your situation.
Yeah.
I just think clearly. And honestly, it's the rarer thing to come from a family that is so super structured about everything. And it's not bad. It's very good. But I think that the question for me, because you want to end your relationship because it mismatch your values, but like, is this somebody outside of this you actually want to be with? For me, that's the latter question. Because if this is bringing out, I'm not sure I actually want to be with this guy, I would be like, okay, you should think about it. But if it is only this, and the reason I say so is because I don't know if you've explored whether this is a teachable moment or not. Because there's a way that if you have actually said, I understand your background, but like it will be more comfortable for me if we have certain plans in place. If it's just like, no, I can't do whatever you want, that is a different thing than someone who comes from a place where they don't have any context of what you are talking. Look, most of us don't even budget. We don't have anything. So I don't know. The question I have, you can't answer it because you wrote your dilemma, which is like, is this issue about money, or is this the entire issue, or is this bringing out, I'm not sure I want to marry you, full stop? Because that's kind of what it's giving a bit to me. Now, the other thing I would say is address your issues. You need to understand if he's planning to be a provider for his siblings' children. We all need to know.
Just the dynamic he's coming from.
Like what the dynamic is coming from. Is he from a family where one person is paying for everybody?
Yeah, or just the wealthier sibling takes care of everybody.
Yeah. Or is he from a family where that is a bit... I just think there's a lot of communication that can be had before you decide to end the marriage. Also, I will say to you that if you're going to be with somebody from a totally different financial mindset background, you're going to have to compromise a little bit. Yeah. The lawyers and accountants immediately might be quite jarring. There needs to be and I mean this from a point of view of somebody that this year tried to like get a hold of my finances and even start using a budget. And like, I'm educated. I know what is what. It was still very hard. So from someone who is even more unstable and coming into it, I feel like you're not being irrational, and it is an important value, but I think you should give it a chance to be figured out before you decide that actually he's on. Because I will tell you that in my opinion, most people are on his side of the spectrum.
And then it's also just a matter of what system are you introducing him to? So it's, what are you telling? what is the value that you're telling him this thing has? For someone that doesn't do it at all, I'm trying to think of it like him, and all he can see is you tying potential capital down somewhere.
Yep.
Right? Somebody that does business and money comes and goes fast. All he can see is if you're telling him, oh, you made one quick 50M, let's put it somewhere. 35 somewhere.
Then we don't have that money.
And he's just thinking, but I could put back that 35. You have to explain to him the value of a trust. And you have to be patient. And it's not all at a time.
My girl.
It's not one
nobody
day.
Really has a trust too.
It's not one day that lawyer, accountant, trust and prenup all together. It's just about making it clear that you're not coming at it like a headmistress. You're coming at it as a partner. Yeah. So that's the only thing I would add. I have another one that's a little juicy.
My own thing is, if when you come at it as a partner, he's still gung-ho, this kind of work, then you can be free. But I just think before that, I won't lie to you. Even me, I don't know many people that have irrevocable trust, my sister. So you're talking about a level of wealth and structure that is actually not the norm. And that's the only reason I would say, maybe try explaining this thing a bit more. Let's understand. Then if it's still a coconut head, sure, you can freight. Or if you're planning to feed his whole family and you're not into that. But I think you might want to give it
a little more time.
A shot first. Like you've already said you wanted space. The whole thing might be a bit jarring. And I get it from you. You also don't want to lose what you have.
Also, as a Nigerian, I'm thinking of it as a Nigerian, men are very anxious
about money.
When you talk about money in a certain way, their heart starts beating in like a, hey, she wants if. Like my there's something that has primed them to think of things like that as you going after assets. And in this case, he actually has assets to be gone after. So when you say prenup, lawyer, all he's thinking is that what's this girl trying to do? People be in his ear saying, her eye is too big.
Yeah.
So you have to think, you also have to give him that grace. But like Fekemi said, try a bit more. If you can see that he's still very headstrong, that's when you can
I think it's not, don't go and do past yourself. I think it's not, because it's not, what you're saying is not he's irresponsible with money. What you're saying is not, if you were saying that, then it's a no-go. But if it's just you people have different languages, I think this kind of thing can actually be taught. And this is not like a thing to if you were saying he spent, because he comes from an unstable background, he just spends anyhow, that is a different thing. And that one I'll be like, listen, I think you need to call it today. But as pillars of strength, this is, I think, where we've landed. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to tonight's episode of Match Day. As I said, sure.
Yes, welcome to Match Day of I Said What I Said. And we are excited
very excited to announce
that our transfer window
is now open. 2026 window has opened for you to work with the greatest podcast in the world.
Honestly. And if you're wondering why, I mean, we're one of the top podcasts in Africa.
We are.
So we reach many people.
Many people. It's not be small things, so not. I suggest you get involved.
Yeah.
You're not locked out from outside.
And if you're wondering who we want to work with, we want to work with everybody. We want to
work with you.
Telecoms, we want to work with fintech, we want to work with finance, we want to work with healthcare, we want to work with consumer goods, we want to work with beauty,
fashion,
we want to work with sports, we want to work with fashion.
AI. If you are even in agriculture,
anybody,
just bring your own. We're here. We know what to do.
We're excited.
We're achieving, ladies.
Exactly.
Okay,
so we're shutting down for the year, but the transfer window is open.
It's well open. If you're a small brand, if you're a big brand, just let us know.
Don't be shy. Send an email. You can check. It's right here. It's right here.
Okay.
It's in our description box.
That's something else that's happening.
It's everywhere. But yes, we really want to work with some really cool people next year.
We do.
To help you reach a bigger, larger audience, we're back in February 2026 and we hope to be working with you. So see you next year.
Bye.
Bye. I have one that's from someone that calls herself Stable Yet Unfulfilled. Hi, Jola and Fekemi. I really love the podcast. It's one of my favorite distractions from a hectic life. I'm a 45-year-old unmarried. I'm a 45-year-old woman, and I've been married to my husband for 17 years. At the beginning, our marriage was genuinely great. We were in love. We built a life together, and we even started a business that has become really successful. That business is the reason I live quite a lavish lifestyle. So my sister also evolved me.
Come on, sponsor this show now.
We have 3 children together and they're doing well. Our home is peaceful and from the outside, everything looks fine. But along the way, especially after children, my husband started cheating. At first, it was discreet, but over the years, it's become more obvious. And today he has a full-time girlfriend and still casually sees other women. I used to be deeply hurt. I confronted him. I cried. I questioned myself. But now, if I'm being honest, I've emotionally checked out. There's no intimacy between us anymore. No real partnership beyond logistics. We coexist very well and we're cordial and we work together without any chaos. He's not cruel or mean. In fact, he's very kind, generous, and a great father. Even though I claim to be emotionally checked out, I have to admit, that I really love him and wish he felt the same way. And that's what makes this harder. It's not black and white. My dilemma is this. I don't know if I want to live the rest of my life like this. Sexless. Hey! No. No.
Trust said this is where I draw the line.
No. Emotionally unfulfilled, but stable. I've really poured my passion and energy into this business, and I don't want a situation where all my efforts will be for nothing because I decide to leave him. He has never shown me that he's that kind of person, but you never know with men. If I stay, I keep my business, I keep my lifestyle, and I keep the peaceful environment my children enjoy. If I leave, I risk losing the business we built together and disrupting the life my children know, even though I might finally choose myself. So my question is, is it better to remain in a marriage that offers security but no happiness, or to walk away and risk everything for the chance at fulfillment? I'm so sorry this is long, babes, but I really should get I probably should get a therapist.
I would say
no fuck.
Let me tell you, my challenge is when people ask us this kind of question. Okay, when we now say which one is better.
Don't you see no ring? Show them your hand. No ring.
What will you now do? They said they see no ring. What will you now do when we finish this advice? What will you now do?
Do you know what breaks my heart for her is that she still loves him.
She loves him. That's actually the heartbreaking thing is that the reason this is a dilemma is that she actually wants it to work.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I'm like one of the ones that you should be speaking to. But maybe that ship has sailed.
That ship has sailed. But if in a non-prescriptive, we're not telling you what to do with.
To be honest, my challenge is if she has already confronted. Look, I find it very difficult to reconcile, and I know nothing is black and white.
Yeah,
I find it very difficult to reconcile. You're kind, you're a great father, but you're constantly hurting me in an obvious way. And like, I'm unfulfilled. I find it very difficult to reconcile when it's like, okay, but you're doing this thing which affects me because she has confronted him before. And you've actually just carried on in it. You don't care about that. But then in these other compartments, I've always found, this is my primary issue with cheating. I don't understand the compartmentalization of it. And so my question is, obviously they're married and she wants to carry on. She loves him and she would love for it to work out, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I'm not sure if there's anything that can be done about that at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
And so the issue is she's clearly unhappy. She's not having sex, which, whoa. Number one, she's not having any emotional intimacy.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what she's doing there. They don't have a marriage. They are roommates. They are flatmates.
Yeah, but her life is tied up with him. Right?
Of course.
So I think, if I'm being honest, I'm also a little tipsy, so I'm less PC than usual. I think you've given him 17 years.
Yeah.
An extra year is not going to kill you in that. An extra year with clearer eyes.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, what's the structure of this business?
Yeah. If you're going to exit,
you have to be so smart. You can't have chested bullshit for, I'll say after the 17, maybe, I don't know what the number is, but let's say 5 years.
Yeah.
And then in a dramatic burst, fuck up your life.
Yeah.
No. You are a big, big woman. You're smart, you're capable, you raise children, you've built a fantastic business. What is the actual maths of this business? What's the legal of this business? What does it look like? 1, 2. What does your, I won't say dream, because we're just talking about how dreams can put you in trouble in the last episode. But what's more ideal for you? You want someone that is completely invested in you. If you're going to be in a relationship at all, like let the partner, at the very least, even if you don't like me, fuck is not?
Do you get? It's not bad. I'm just like,
it's not bad.
Chief, your own is very serious. So kilo day.
It's not bad.
And something light here and there.
You know, just what they call it. Blood tonic is not. It's not an issue.
Koda. No,
but I think you think of a more ideal situation for you. What does that look like? Like you have financial freedom and you have someone that's invested in you emotionally and physically. The third option, my parents actually, I know my mom is going to come and lecture me, is to ask your husband, are we in an open marriage?
Yeah, like what are we doing?
What are we doing here?
Like, do you actually want to be in this situation?
If this is what we're doing now. And you know, there's something about
so being... me too, I can get my own on
There's something about being honest and not being like childish about some of these conversations. You are having a life outside of the home. You're coming home and you're also happy because...
obvious.
And me, I'm here. So I want to know, what are the rules of this game?
Because this isn't working
Because this isn't working for me, right? And then... in the meantime, I'm actually not trying to be funny. If you guys have built a business over time, there are records. What is it you have done? Because like you said, you can't trust. When people are angry, when people are hurt, they react in different ways.
Yeah.
What did you contribute financially? What deals did you bring in? What did you build? What did you put into the business? Write all of that stuff down. If you divorce now, how old are the children? How will they be affected? What kind of life will you live? Yeah, if
you need to do this thing with planning. I is it an emotional thing? But girl, please, let's be serious.
Let's be serious. Let's be honest.
So if you're deciding to leave, let's know how you're not going to ruin the whole life you've built. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're deciding to stay and you are, my preference will be the approach that, oh boy, please, I want to just be clear what we're doing here. So now all of us are having girlfriend, boyfriend. Is that how we want to doing? Exist? And then you might find that even that is not fulfilling for you because a lot of times people will try and say, okay, we've opened it. And you find, actually, I don't want to do this shit.
Especially if what you were hoping is when you said,
he will now drop everybody. No, I'm so in love with you. I can't believe I did this the whole time. Probably not going to happen. Yeah. And so you have, basically, if you have that conversation, you get answers. But my own is when you get answers, I need us to do.
You have to act on the answers.
God bless you. This is not a case of storming out. They'll be packing your things one. No, by the time you've left, he's just like, wait, none of your things are in the house. And it's like, my guy, I've been going. So we need to figure out structure. You need to understand what can and cannot happen. If you've left yourself open in the business, you need to start putting those protections in place immediately so that you know, you need to think about this properly. This is not a case of, did we say you should leave him or not? If you are going to, please, let's look at the things that will not make things hard.
Make your life difficult.
Yeah, that will not make things hard for you. And I think that's quite important.
Nothing as jarring as loving someone who doesn't love you back.
No, it's really the worst thing.
Obviously, the one we're used to is in a non-marital situation. Inside a marriage, that's really, and I'm really, really sorry. I'm also, this is neither here nor there. This has nothing to do with what you said, but I'm so glad whenever I hear 40 plus women like the podcast, I get so excited.
I do. I think that's a great age range. I have one that is honestly extremely insane and dynamic. Why are people like this? The title is My Boyfriend Plays My 600-Pound Life When I Eat. Peace be unto this house, says the writer. Can't wait to see you ladies in Lagos.
No, but is it a crime to be fat?
Okay, please, this is a long one, but I promise every detail is necessary. So I gained weight because I wanted to grow my ash since BBL is expensive.
You know, you guys are so dynamic.
I noticed that every time I go to my boyfriend's house, the TV is somehow always on TLC's My 600-Pound Life or My 1,000-Pound Life. Some days I'll be hearing it blasting from the gates, I swear. To be honest, I thought it was coincidence at first, but we'll be watching Netflix, then I'll go to the kitchen for seconds. And when I come back, the channel don't change. Somebody is crying and Dr. Now is shouting. If I change it back to a movie, he'll say, but the message in this series is very captivating. One time I wanted to order food and this man swore to the heavens that he didn't have money and we should fast. It got so bad that anytime I was cooking, eating, or just existing, my 600-pound life would magically appear. I confronted him and he said he was just concerned and it was for my own good because I was seriously gaining weight. I've lost some weight now because dirty December. And guess what? No more my 600 pound life or my 1,000 pound life, and no random channel switching when I leave the room. So now I'm confused. Honestly, I'd rather he just called me fat and face me directly than all this corner behavior. The relationship is great, but this particular thing is somehow. My friends say it's weird and passive aggressive, and in the long run, it will be a problem. I'm trying not to overthink, but deep down, I'm like, was he actually just looking out for me? Please talk to me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Your boyfriend passive aggressively being rude to you, I'm not into it at all. I think it's crazy that you be watching a movie and this man will put it on a show about losing weight.
As someone whose hobby is gaining weight, I
gain weight all the time. I have gained weight on this pod. You cannot try it.
I think there's something very weird about not being able to be upfront.
Yeah, and doing it in a way that is actually quite like...
Has a man ever told you that you gained weight?
Yeah.
But did you take it badly?
No, he said it in honestly... probably the best way you can possibly say
and I think that's what I have a problem with. So there's something about being in an intimate relationship with someone and they can talk to you about almost any and everything. And weight is touchy.
It is.
And everybody knows that.
And you have to handle it in a touchy way.
But just his inability or refusal basically to be regular about it, playing these mind games.
It's just unkind.
It's very unkind.
It's actually unkind. And for me, I do not rate any situation where the person you're with is casually unkind to you to prove a point. If he wants to talk about your weight, he should say so. Like, I don't, you're concerned, but from one end, it sounds more like he doesn't like it or how you look than anything else. And the thing is, for a lot of women, weight is up and down. And so what happens if you put on weight? What happens if later you put on weight for any other reason or you have children? Is he going to be playing this? I don't like this kind of casual cruelty that is okay. Now you're feeling somehow and he's making all these side comments. I actually think it's very weird. And I don't buy the I'm concerned about you, because if you were concerned about me, you would actually just come and say, listen, I know this is like really, really somehow, but I think we should have, and the way my conversation even started, it was not even because of it's because I was asking about an outfit, which was clearly not fitting. But I was like, when you're trying something on and you're like, you start getting into a frustration. Now, all of a sudden, you can't find anything to wear, nothing. And he just sat there and he was just like, okay, I think you need to sit down. He was like, here's the thing. You don't like that you've put on weight. I actually don't care. Like, he was like, me, he's actually not doing me.
Oh, that's nice.
But you don't like it. But as a result, you are now making everything about it. And so he's like, I think we're either going to decide that we're going to do something about it, or we're going to like act like sensible people. Because it was like, now all your clothes are on the floor. You've thrown a fit.
You're upset.
You're upset.
We're not going.
You said that, God bless you. I'd already said I don't feel like going. He should go by himself. He's like, if I go by myself, another problem again. For me, I want to go. So he was like, I need us to understand like what is going on. And so we just had it. He was like, just sit down. Like, tell me what is the matter?
I like food.
So what is
so much of cake? I love it.
What is actually the issue? And what do you want? Like, is this the thing you want to do something? Because he was like, see, if it's that you don't want to do anything about it, let's go and buy you clothes in your size, my dear.
Yeah.
Or do you want to lose the weight? But this thing that we're not approaching it. She just said, we're not approaching it every day. You're just so angry. You're angry. If I say 1, you said 2. If I say, you ask me, how does this look? Me, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. What I want to say is, I remember when you wore this the first time. Now, we're struggling with this zip. And then he was like, and then at that time, I had, honestly, probably the worst, like, shapewear in the world.
Pick me, please.
It had a zip and then it had hooks as well. So I would be able to zip it, obviously, but then he would have to help me with the hooks. And he was just like, I'm so sorry, but like, he was like, what are we doing now?
Sorry, I know that this is not what I was talking about at the moment, but have you ever had someone you want to think you're sexy have to try and zip you into?
Okay, this is what I'm talking about, Jola. Now, just imagine. No, wait, let me finish the story. Just imagine after someone is standing in front of you. Wait, standing in front of you doing this
stomach
hook. Yeah, the hook is on the stomach now.
No.
So me, I've zipped it now to the point where he has to do this. Like, let's say I'm helping you do the hook. He now puts one leg back. He now said, wait, you hold this one. You guys, wow. I said, I can't believe that there's somebody that wants to see my pants. He puts his leg back. He said, wait, hold this side. Then he puts his leg back for stability. So because he can fall down in the struggle. Guess what? I now cuckoo wore the jumpsuits. We couldn't zip it. So that's when he was like, I think we should sit down. I think this is a case of let's discuss. He said, because after the war, we just fought onto this shape where you say you. Then the thing was now, it was now up. Well, no. It was not, look, it was not up to here. So this part was now.
Was not folding.
It was now not the full length. This part was not up. I'm not doing like this. Then I now finally wore the jumpsuit. Jola, we couldn't zip it.
Oh man, if you've ever had like what I call like a faster than normal moment, and then your clothes are not, you'll be so upset.
I almost lost, and we were going to somebody's birthday. I almost lost my mind. So he was like, please just sit down. That like, so we haven't spoken about this, but and he was like, he kept saying this is very somehow. Me, I know. I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here, but he was like, what we did now, we can never do it again. He said, honestly, we have to decide what we're going to do. Are we losing weight or are we buying new clothes? But like this thing, this way we are now this night, we can actually never do it again. So me, he was like, what you don't, he was like, at least let's remove my own from the worry. Personally, I do not care. Like, it does not affect me. And I was like, you're lying. Yeah, he was like, no problem. But you clearly were having a serious problem. So what do you want to do? Just explain to me what the issue is.
That's why everybody needs someone like my daddy in their life. Yeah, my daddy, do I look fat? He say it depends on how you mean. And that's all you need to know.
And so that thing took ages. It took like 2.5 hours to leave the house that day. And I hated what I wore. But it was his friend's party and he was just like, okay, now that it's 1 a.m., let's go to the end.
Yeah.
He was like, it's dark. Nobody can people see you.
But you at least need to have a conversation.
But my point is that a conversation was had and I felt like I wasn't running mad on my own. What this person is doing is the opposite of this. And that was deeply embarrassing, having said that. Now that their relationship didn't work out, I look back on moments like that. Was it worth it? Probably not. No, because these are the things you have to hold on to my shame. But what I'm saying is, if he was unkind in that moment, that would have been the end of that thing there and then. So for me, I don't understand how you are like covering up this song. Do you know what it is for you to step into the kitchen and come back as someone has changed channel? Like, I'm sorry.
Don't forget what she steps to the kitchen for.
Food now.
For more food.
Yeah, but you're saying it as if it's casual. And I'm like,
no, it's cruel.
This guy hates you.
It's cruel.
It's cruel. And I'm not into it at all. Again, we've all put up, to be fat is not the end of the world. If your boyfriend is not happy that you're fat, you should first say so. Let's know. And it's either you want to do something about it or sometimes you don't have the energy to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I just think it's very cruel for your intimate partner to be the one
playing mind games.
Like, if other people are making you feel somehow, you're supposed to be able to go to him and say, can you imagine what my mommy said to me today? Not that he is actually the one making you feel a fool. Santa Claus.
She's getting about with her.
Anyway, so this is my opinion. I think that man is raggedy.
And it's cruel. When it boils down to everything, it's just cruel.
Thank you. You need to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I know that's not what you asked.
But that's pretty much it.
But my conclusion is that you need to get rid of that man. Can I tell you what's funny?
What?
My sister was asking me which side of cap married men are supposed to wear their cap, because her friend who was from London, who came for someone else's wedding, wanted to wear it in the appropriate. He was like, he's engaged, so which side she puts cap? I found it so funny because I was like, I mean, there is a side.
There's a side, but I don't know that we pay as much attention.
But I was like, I promise you, I've never looked at a man and thought, I say, if you use that, Lagos men would too deceive you. Whoa. And so he was like, he's engaged. I was like, your cap is meant to be to the left if you're married or engaged, but it's not. Nobody good. I just found it so funny that someone like cared about that. Anyway, I'm single, so my cap is to the right. Okay.
Is married like dating or married? Left or right? Does that include?
Left is married and engaged now.
Anything else is single.
If you've done intro, your cap is on the left.
Okay, fair. All right. What were we supposed to talk about?
Boyfriend? No, they don't.
We don't do that.
It.
What were we supposed to talk about in terms of
Yoruba land?
Our next year? What do you want for the podcast?
Money.
I want more international dates.
I do. I want more international gigs, but I also would like...
No, like just dates, like for our tour.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think for our tour, I think we figured out a lot. I would like a larger variety of types of brands.
Okay, yeah.
That we work with. I think that is important. What else would I like? We're launching a not private channel.
Something behind the paywall, yeah.
Page, please, nobody should panic. The normal podcast
is still there, don't worry.
Is if you are looking for extra, that you come back there. Nothing's going to happen to the normal podcast. If you're even watching normal podcast, you will not even know that something else is happening. But I'm looking forward to that. What else? I'm looking forward to us having merch year round. I think that would be fun. I'm more like, the problem is, if we now do too many events, there's so many, but more
events,
community events across the smaller things as well. So obviously there's the live show, there's a tour, but like smaller things
that we care about
are important. And I'm looking forward to kind of having ways to do smaller things together. We didn't do any grown up things.
Yeah, we'll do grown up next year.
I think grown up business babes.
I think you have a bit more time, so might do that. Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much, it's growth.
I want like bigger growth. Funny enough, within Africa. So when I went to Cape Town, I was talking to someone that I had met, and she's very like American in her approach. So she talks to people. You know the way Americans would just strike up a conversation with anybody. And she met someone from Congo. Yeah. She said within 3 minutes of having a conversation, they had so many touch points.
Yeah.
And she just felt, and she's from Senegambia, that we need to talk more as African women. And when we don't within Africa. So I know that they're like the big ones. So there's like Kenya, South Africa. Even within that, I want to grow more there.
Yeah, I would love to be able to do more things there. And like, even if it's not a show or whatever, just go there, interact with people, have an event or two.
Yeah. But
just basically build community in that.
Funny enough, I want to do a show in Port Harcourt.
I actually do.
Yeah, I really do.
Lie. I think that at this point, it would actually work.
Yeah, 100%.
And
the numbers make sense. Everything makes sense.
But I think we can actually run.
But I would really love to do it.
I would love to do like around Nigeria, to be honest.
Oh, look at that.
Not the whole
She's
Nigeria.
Back to our intro.
Yeah.
She wants to go around Nigeria.
Yeah, whatever. Not the whole Nigeria.
But enough. Like, someone invited us to Kaduna.
Really?
I'm being serious though. He said I should message him when we're ready. So maybe next year.
Which is my homeland.
Yeah. But I just feel like it would be nice to engage a bit more with people
and it'll be smaller things, but I just think we can do it. It's logistically heavy,
Yeah, but it's feasible and it's possible. But also more shows in the US, more shows in Europe. Okay, I'm lying. I don't think of Europe in the same way.
I was going to say that. Personally, I'm not into Europe. Like outside England,
more shows in the US. But I think we've done such a good job. So we kind of, in numbers wise, we grew so much, but we still know what we can do. So we're excited about.
Oh, I'll tell you one more like personality story podcast.
Oh yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Less like more personality story. More like this is a story about people who live this way or do this thing. Random people that nobody knows. Not like celebrities.
Those have always been our best.
Those are always
apart from like just the two of us. Those have always done
those are actually
really
my
well.
favorites, and I think we need to be more active about doing those.
Sorry to Theresa.
We had so many like celebrity-ish guests this year, which was not bad. But I love the, these people are, the divorced women, the debt collectors.
That was so good.
All those things were actually...
That was so much fun.
They were very much my
speed.
My vibe. And, things come from it. Shout out to Mr. Ezra who called me this morning. Who, like, I have been working with since the day we did that podcast. So life is dynamic. And 100%. You never know.
On a personal level, Uncle.
I think all these things will bring us more money, my dear. And so that is also good.
Yeah, I want more peace of mind, I think.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I thought you meant on the personal level about the podcast.
No. Personal level as a human being.
You carry on.
I want more peace of mind.
What do you mean?
I feel like I'm anxious a lot.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with money, but it also has a lot to do with being someone that tries not to compare but ends up benchmarking with other people to see if you are being a bit of a clown. Which is a good thing to do.
It is from time to time, but I think it's that we might dwell in it a little bit.
A little too much, yeah. So I want a bit more peace of mind. I want to do more adult things.
What do you mean?
So my nature is playful. I'm a playful person. Yeah. I'm very silly. I don't see the point in being an extremely serious. It doesn't do much for me. But I think it helps me shy away from not being where I need to be in the things that are required of me. Like as someone who has had the education she's had or the options and and so I can shy away from that as being like a bit of a jokester. So I want to be a bit more of an adult in those things. I need to stop shying away from. I get emotional so easily. And so I run away from certain conversations. Even with my parents. So there's a time that my mom wanted to talk about like, I can't remember, but it had to do with something that has to do with when she dies. And I just refused to engage. But I think I need to be a bit more of an adult. Particularly in the last couple of months, a couple of my friends have lost parents in ways we didn't expect. So, and I see how much easier it was for them because them and their parents had really hard conversations. Not all of them, but some of them. So there's that. And I want to be bolder. So I shy away from, I'm afraid of business, of consumer goods businesses. I think I'm great at selling services, but consumer goods, I'm very afraid of just because the disappointment levels are different. The risk is higher.
Yeah.
But I want to get over that hump.
There's more a visceral reaction.
And I want to be a much better friend. I think I dropped the ball a lot this year. I really want to be a much better friend. I want to be there for my friends in a way that is tangible. So my friends love me. And again, they make excuses for me because my dad always jokes about how likable my personality is, but that also covers a multitude of sins. So I want to try and do that. But I also want to be harsher. I don't like people being unhappy with me.
Yeah.
I don't like being the bad guy in people's stories. But I know next year, I'm already thinking about certain things. I'm going to disappoint people in a big way next year, and I have to be okay with what the story will be after that. So yeah, that's pretty much
That's so interesting. Yeah, I agree that I definitely want to be a better friend. I realized this year, especially because the last few months, I've had a lot of mess and people have shown up in ways that and me, for someone who has not shown up as much as I want to, I have such high expectations that it's actually quite hypocritical, which is the truth. And people have met them. And I'm just like, wow, this is very awkward indeed. Here we all are now. And everybody, so that one is a lot for me. I am actually tired of being single. I need to fall in love.
I can't believe this.
I'm actually not joking. It's time. I'm telling you.
Okay, you want that? So there's this thing that we're joking about in Cape Town. So one of my friends, her mom goes to a church where they pray like MFM-ish type prayer, but no. And she said that, it's so crazy to her that she just hear her mom shouting in the room, which means fire, lights, So that prayer just said, my dad has been on me after he came to marry.
Please that. No, my own is not about marriage. It's about love.
No. But things that my father doesn't understand that.
So what I want is romance.
No, he doesn't understand that.
Love.
Tola here is single marriage.
I actually want to be honest. It's actually not about marriage itself.
No.
I'm talking about like just the process.
You just broke my daddy's heart in a big way.
Without falling in love, how do you want to marry now?
By the Spirit of God.
No, but I want to also enjoy. If I meet someone today, I don't want to marry them next.
Why not? Why not?
Because from what I can see, marriage seems to be a killer of the romance.
Why not? Why not?
So yeah, your dad will not be pleased with this. So yeah, I think that is one thing. I'm like, it's boring now. I've like when people are like, let's go for dinner. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I'm more dinner. I just. You go to restaurants and I've been in all these seats for dates in my life. Like, what's going on? Let's pack it up. That I think next year is a huge transition year for me, with my business, which may or may not continue, probably not. And so...
How do you feel about that though?
I feel... I internalized the failure of that so much more than I was expecting to. But it's been a real struggle to be like, that is not who you... People keep saying it and I'm like...
Because you don't hear word.
But it is... But
you don't hear word.
Because you see yourself a certain way and you're just like, this is the thing that I'm supposed to be good at. So that is crazy.
You need to talk to my dad more.
Yeah. He really... that conversation was actually really great. I was like, Uncle... Yeah, you are good. I have to be honest, you are good.
Sorry, the reason I'm saying that is my dad has a thing about teaching people to remove themselves from business failure or business difficulty, because that is something he has dealt with multiple times. So he's very big on explaining to people that sometimes it's just maybe your environment or you made a bad decision and the decision spirals way out of your control. But my dad is very big on constantly saying to me that you tried this thing and it didn't work the way you wanted it to work. Oman Shelley, it happens. Yeah. It happens. He's so big on that because he doesn't want you to waste time before getting on to the next thing, before figuring out how to deal with stakeholders fast. So it was a very, very useful conversation because he was just like, listen.
Up collie boy, up collie. He was like, I need you to understand that we've been here.
Many times.
We've been because it was funny because he kept saying ask your uncle and then the next day uncle called me and he was like, girl.
No. I really need my dream would be for it to be both of them because I'm fascinated by my dad and his brother's
I can't lie, they're
relationship. They are so close. But if my dad and his brother talk about what it is to fail at life, at business, you think is that you'll be laughing. But when it happens to you and on a personal level you are failing, you realize why they were trying to hammer that into your brain. But yeah.
The uncle was joking with me that maybe I should start calling him just Unc, not the complete, because maybe I have other uncles that they've always done well, so they can give me so many success stories. But if I just call him Unc half, then I can use half of his experience.
And
I was like, what is happening here? But no, so that has been really tough. But then I'm like, I will do something else. But it's just a transition.
Figuring out.
And now I'm like, you know what? Let's see how that goes. I'm no longer like, oh.
But not to be funny, the thing is, I say it all the time. And I say, there's one other friend I say this to, and she laughs all the time, says she's used to it because she feels like I can tell her I want to go to the moon next week. Like, you can do it. But it's not that. I know my friends that are capable, right? And I know that going through a hard time for an extended period of time can make you feel a bit incompetent. Yeah. Not a bit, but very unsure. Yeah. So I've been telling Fekemi literally for a very long time that you can do things. It's hard now because it doesn't feel like that because this was your dream. But you can do things. Yeah. And I will always say to you, she will say, Jola, I'm thinking, I say, but you can do, any small thing.
It's just an interesting.
You can do
because
it.
You know what it is? You fail at something, then you start questioning even your small capacity. Decisions. You start questioning okay, so the day maybe you decide to come to this podcast and take VI and there's traffic here, it's part of it. This is why the business failed. Small decision now, you can. So that's what has been happening where I'm like, this has nothing, smallest decision goes here or there. And you're like, oh, you see, this is what they're saying.
Oh, well,
and me, I hate disappointing people. Whoa. It's the worst thing. So I'm like, it's not even about myself. I have to be honest. I hate the look of disappointment. So all these things are next year. What else? We need to make money.
Yeah, a lot more.
It's actually crucial.
We've been acting like this is a hobby and it's a job.
No. We need to make money.
We've been acting like this is a hobby and it's a job.
Face it. And when you see people facing things squarely, you start feeling shy.
But you know what I thought about recently? We're really, really good at community. And I think we don't we don't emphasize that enough.
We do not.
So I was talking to someone. This was someone that listened to the podcast, so we just started gisting. And she was like, you care about so many things and you think about so many things. Like, why don't you do more? And I was like, I actually don't know. I don't know why we don't.
Because we actually care a lot.
Because what you're talking about was like a family thing. And so every other sentence I'll say, I know I'm not married, but, or I know I don't have children, but. And she was like, but you care. And that's more than most people. So I really think investing in the things that community cares about that can move them
move them forward. I think it'll be nice. I think it'll be nice. And we have, honestly, I don't even know, let's just say by God, by law, we have such an active community.
Bro.
They're so into it that I just think it'll be such a shame if we don't also join them in the activity.
Things,
in the activity. Our community moves. Like they're up and doing.
I want to be happier next year because I made an effort.
But I'm just not sure how.
No, so the thing is that we think of activeness as passive.
Yeah.
That you're doing other things and you happen to be happy, as opposed to
making yourself
happy and thinking of. So for instance, like when you came to when you left, I was like, that was so nice.
Lovely. I was like, why don't we do this more often?
What do? We drank hot sparkling wine
in a room, and we just
in my room, and we're just 3 in the morning. We were just doing rubbish and laughing. It wasn't a lot, but it made us all feel better. Like, this is we did a nice thing today. Hanging out with our friends is a nice thing to do. Helping your friends, taking care of your friends' kids.
And like, these are such like low effort things. You're just sitting around. But it's very necessary. You don't always have to and I feel like we're always trying to plan the fun.
No.
In like, guys, what we do. I'm like, maybe we should just hang out.
I have something I want to talk about.
What?
So this whole Dirty December thing, it started off very spontaneous.
Yes. And
as with a lot of things, when people try to pretend that they're formalizing, but what is that? They're capitalizing on a moment. I'm seeing it work to our detriment in so many ways. So I'll give one example. A friend of a friend. So while I was at Shalewa's pop-up, someone was there talking about how, she had an issue with her Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
Or I won't say Airbnb, I'm so sorry, her shortlet apartment. Apparently the guy pays the landlord daily.
What?
I'm telling you.
What does that mean?
Basically, he's running a scam.
Yeah.
And she got there and the landlord was basically telling them to exit the property because they haven't been paid. She said she got to the police station and the policeman said, apartment Abby. So there have been multiple
cases like this.
Cases of people just cheating. I've seen events. In fact, I was talking about an event where it was clear that it was a money grab.
It was because there were huge sponsors and you guys, this wasn't even, the person didn't go out of their way. What happened at that event was they raised all this money from sponsors and they were like, I'm going to spend the minimum I can possibly spend. For you to go to an event that there are no chairs in VIP. When I say no chairs, I don't mean no lounge chairs. I mean no chairs, full stop.
Mind you, it's not a rave.
I said to myself, but people paid for these tables.
I'm seeing tables where people are paying 3 million naira, 5 million naira.
You're standing.
There's 2 bottles.
There's no ice.
There's 2 bottles of, not the most expensive alcohol you can get,
random alcohol, random.
2 small chops.
They just said, whatever, man, whatever.
2 small chops.
I was like, there's no decor. They just made all these random banners. It was, everybody there felt insulted. The person came late. Everybody there was like, okay, so I'm a fool.
Yeah, and it's happening multiple times across.
And it's just like
Airbnb. I'm seeing prices for events. And I'm like, this is a money grabbing that you think that you've gotten into your mind that people are some sort of fools that want to pass with their money. And I will say this and then we can move on. I think Nigeria has a problem with Yahoo culture. People think of Yahoo boys as only the Yahoo boys. But there's this attitude where you have willing magas everywhere.
Yeah.
You have these willing fools that are ready to pass with their money. So you're doing events, you are doing concerts, and you're not making any effort because they are you think of people fundamentally as idiots that will chop anything you give. And part of why I'm thinking about it is someone was talking to me and said, our tickets weren't expensive enough. And I said, do you know that
people say that every time? And I'm like, guys,
do you know that it's the job of the person, if you're in community with people, it's not about profit maximization every single time. Your job is also to make sure that you don't exhaust the spending interest of the customer.
Of the person. I'm like, I know
you're not a fool.
What people would pay, but I also know what is like realistic for you to have paid this and feel like, you know what?
I feel like I had a good time.
I had a good time. This was money worth spending. Not feeling coming out like, why did I spend this amount? Like, it was good, but
so we're doing it with.
I feel exhausted.
We're doing it with shortlets. We're doing it with apartments. We're doing it with experiences. We're doing it with restaurants. We're doing it with Ubers. We're doing it with everything in a way that you're constantly telling people you are a fool and I'm grabbing your money from you. And it doesn't matter what you see. And people can see and feel that. They're doing it with pop-ups. They're doing it with everything.
No, it's irritating.
It's very irritating and it's very irresponsible. And I think we will squander the moment. Like Nigerian fashion. I was in Cape Town a few weeks ago. I'm going back again. My friends and I were constantly asked what we were wearing. Nigerian fashion is on the up.
Yeah.
But you will exhaust that if you destroy it by thinking that people are fools and they will shall pay. And then you're saying rude and stupid things, frankly, by saying stuff like, I'd rather deal with my 10 customers than 100 noisy people. And so you're asking people to pay.
That's not your target audience. Who is?
Restaurants. My friend went to a restaurant and was complaining about how she had a kale salad and something else and her bill was 120K. She had a kale salad and 3 drinks.
Yeah, I'm seeing 24K cocktails and I'm just
What are we talking about? So
I'm just thinking, I'm sorry, what's happening here?
There is a fraud. Yahoo doesn't have, but there's a fraud culture where there's an attitude that people who have money are too stupid to understand what value is. And we are perpetuating it in a way that is going to squander the moment.
How many did a video that when December 31st comes, the number of vendors, event planners that will not be in jail is 2 people. That there will be 2 people left who are not jailed by the people because it's too much.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
You're no longer making money. You're robbing. You're taking people for a ride. And I'm like,
it's not fair.
We're not
and
even
it's not right.
gaining anything from these experiences. You're not putting the effort in. And I can tell. I'm like, but we know how much things are now. If you're not thinking, okay, how can people be comfortable? How can people be mba? And the truth is that you can make money or you can make a lot of money and people can actually have a good time. But you don't want to. You want to make the most money possible while everybody's irritated and hot. So I don't get it, but yeah, I'm not participating.
Yeah, it's a personal thing, but it's something for the wider population thing about, not to brag, but people have asked me and Fikemi so many times, what do you?
They keep asking us, how do you do the community?
I think like, and we start having basic conversations and I see how you
giving a shit.
These people are stupid. You think these people that like you are fools. People that listen to your music or buy your product are like fools. And you treat them like
a gift bag and someone was like, but why are we looking for more things to put in a gift bag? They've paid now. And I was like, but you guys, things are somehow in life. Like, it's small, moments of joy here and there. I go to an event and someone gives you something and I'm like, oh, how fun.
Yeah, you invest in them, they invest in you. And there's this symbiotic nature of we're both trying to make something of ourselves. I was telling someone the other day that you've forgotten that this is a person that I want to keep listening to me every week. So when I just take their money and then I treat them anyhow, they come, they gain nothing by being more part of the community. I don't get what the point of this is. But yeah, that was something I was thinking about recently. But I want to be happier. I think you're right. I want to be more disciplined.
Intentional joy. And I mean the discipline in all areas. Like, I don't even have a bedtime. It's not a realistic way to live life. Yes, I went to bed at 4:30. No, I normally go to bed at 4:30. But the problem is why? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
When you start thinking about it doesn't make sense because I wake up tired every day.
I have another weird thing. It's not weird. Why am I saying it's weird? Oh my God, internalized misogyny. Yeah. Oh. I want to be more nakedly ambitious.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. You want to build in public?
Yeah. Not build in public, but I think there's something about being embarrassed when things don't work out, so you hold yourself back. And I think I want to try.
Name something you want to try. Let's start.
No, thank you.
No, you're starting now. Next year, I'm going to
fuck it up.
No, that doesn't work.
Next
specific
year,
thing that you're going to do that may or may not work.
The problem is, I think I want to say involves you. I can't just say it. Next year, I want us to do at least 10 live shows.
Hey, it's good.
Okay, cool. Okay, I want us to do at least 10 because we did 4 this year, which was good. But we left. Fakim and I were thinking about, one of the worst things is imaginary money.
Guys, we have calculated so many things.
And I was just like, Fakim, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we
left so much money on the table. All our money was somewhere. I said, God, we are fools.
Yeah, and I think I want us to just try so many things. I want to do at least 10 live shows, and it's not because
we actually can. Number one,
yes, that's the first
and
thing.
We need to.
I want to do that. I think for the podcast, this specific podcast,
this is where
at least,
we are. Yeah,
there's no reason why I said what I said. Should be doing 5 shows, 4 shows in a year. That's nonsense. Genuinely, not because of who we are, but because of how the community has grown. Sorry.
We've done 4 so far.
We did 4. So next year I want to do 10. Yeah,
I think we can do 10.
I want to do 10.
I think so.
I think it'll be fun to try, make that effort.
We should do an Owambe in a different country.
Okay, fine. I'm with you now.
Please, I've been saying this thing since. It's very important. Literally yesterday, someone said to me that their Owambe, their area has faded, so we need to do another one. I said one. Yeah. They're like, they wear it up and down so much that the thing has
that I love.
Faded.
I said what I said in the wild.
I see it in the wild and I'm like, that was that year.
I'm like, Fakim and I were, now everybody is doing at the end of they're writing their name. 2021, where were you?
Where were you? It's used to be a trendsetter.
Where is he? I even had lunch with, I actually want to drag Shay back onto the podcast.
I would love to hear his experience of us.
Drag Shay back onto the podcast. So that would be nice.
Yeah.
But I think there's so many fun things that we could do.
And
that we're so shy of it not working out that we just don't try at all.
I think we could do a community engagement, even if it's every 2 months. I think we could do something.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think we're going to do really well.
What about a personal thing? That's a cop-out. That's a podcast. A personal project you have. So I don't know what to say.
Shy.
Go ahead.
The funny thing is that it seems like we overshare. Someone said this to me, that she feels like we constantly overshare. And it's like, actually, it's not real overshare.
You don't say anything.
On a personal note, I don't want my tailor's measuring tape to be that wide when she's going around my waist. That's something, man.
Wait, whose measurement is this?
Please do that thing. No, I do want to take my physical health seriously. I'm on some bullshit. Yesterday, I woke up in the middle of the night
amount of bullshit.
And I was uncomfortable. I thought you should have seen that cake. Jola?
You know what makes me really upset? There's a treadmill inside my house.
I have a whole gym. You guys, if you follow me, you see my mom.
I have used it 2 times.
If anybody follows me, they see my mom is on job. We have a whole gym in our house. Serious shit. I don't give a damn, man. Where is that rice and stew? But I do want to take my physical health more serious. That's one thing. I told you I wanted to be a better friend.
Yeah.
But the third thing is I want to start a consumer goods business that I take seriously. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
On a personal note, I want us to go to China. Not for
I think
work.
we should. I think we should in general. Tomini, we're going to China. I have a consumer goods business that I think I'm going to do next year.
Yeah, I want to go to China and just figure stuff. Just like
I want to see what's going on. I actually want to see what's going on.
And then I also want to. No, it's not personal. That's work again. Personal. I want to be softer.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's something about Lagos that constantly tells you you're a fool for being vulnerable. Yeah. Even within friendships.
Yeah.
And romantic relationships.
In a when I say relationship, I don't mean romantic. In a relationship with people context, I agree.
So when we had the Ajoja dinner with our friends and we were talking about the deeper questions, my heart was beating and I was like, but these are some of my best friends in the world.
And I can't say comfortably.
And that's really weird. But I want to be softer because there's something about being Nigerian that tells you you're a fool for opening up and being a bit vulnerable. And then I want to show up for people more. I want to go to more. No weddings. So no wedding, but I want to actually visit my friends more. I want to go to more uncomfortable things, so funerals or condolence visits or things like that. Because I worry about usefulness. A big thing for me is usefulness. And I find that with non-celebratory things, I get so anxious that, but what am I doing there? If I'm there and this person is grieving, what am I doing here? Are they thinking, oh, this person is here, I can't. But my friend just told me that no, it's about your physical presence means a lot.
Yeah.
So I want to be there for my friends a lot more. And I want to make a lot more money. I
actually need to make a lot more money. And the truth is we can.
Yeah.
We just didn't.
We just didn't. So I want to stop pretending that this is just something fun that we stumbled on that did well. I want it to be like...
It's not. It's huge. And
I want it to be clear to everybody we're in business.
The issue is that we haven't decided that we're in business yet. That's actually the truth. When you gauge... Oh, in Abuja, our friends were like, so you guys don't sell anything to these women. You just keep gathering men.
Even the women said, so no t-shirt, no nothing.
Nothing.
You don't like... Somebody told us, one girl said, people are very serious. It cracked me up so much. So no, she said not even cop. The way she said it was so funny.
Like we hate we hate money.
She said that she brought like 50K in her bag. Like, okay, give me something to buy. That she got here. She said, these ones are not serious. But yeah, I want to treat business as a serious thing. Yeah. I want to grow internationally and like do stuff that scares me. At the moment, a lot of stuff we do is a bit daunting, but it's not scary.
Not at all.
It's daunting. Debbie is begging us, or doing is begging us. People that we know, our friends who have been here for a long time have been like, guys, do this, do that. And even though sometimes we'll talk and we'll just leave it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. What else do I want to do? That's all.
I want to travel a little bit, but that requires money.
Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go to?
Places.
I want to go to Asia.
Yeah, I need to go to Asia. I just need to go to places. My favorite city in the world is Florence. I haven't been in 3 years.
Okay, fair.
And I used to go every year.
Yeah, you did actually.
When I was up.
Yeah, you did actually.
Now, things are different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just like, I'm not doing the one me I like to do. I'm actually not doing it. So what is the essence of life?
In honor of being a community-focused podcast, what do you
want to do next year? You should tell us what you want to do.
Doing next year.
Please
Carousel Network. Nobody should quit.
Support the things we do next year. Hey.
Before somebody will carry something, what I wanted to do was
they want
quit.
To have a dream. Don't have any dream that does not involve us.
You people, please. This team is excellent, and they take God beg you, please. I don't want to hear that.
You should not follow your dream.
Just crying.
Just allow your dream to be inside this place.
Inside. Just tell us what you need. We can. What they say that we can encourage you.
To encourage you. Anything you want to do, we can do it. Don't worry.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I want to be I want to be exhausted.
Yeah.
So I'm not exhausted this year from anything that has to do with actual work.
No, I'm not.
So I want to feel like we walked. I want to be exhausted from doing
please, if
work.
we release things, support us.
Yes.
Maybe we support us. If we do consumer goods, support us. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. I also want us to spend more non-podcast time together.
Yeah, what do we always... When I came to your house, I was like, what the hell are we always doing with our life?
Yeah.
Or just up and down rubbish.
Yeah, Fakim and I used to hang out all the time before. We don't hang out anymore.
I'm just like, which one is all these things? Anyway, look at see what we say. We just say we'll do the business. So... We're hanging out that we want to. Anyway, all is possible. Don't worry yourself.
All right, guys, this has been so much fun.
See you guys next year.
We grew, just for context, we grew 150%.
We did. A lot of you joined us. Yeah. Welcome to the fray.
Welcome.
And there's going to be a lot more for you next year. This year I've really enjoyed like meeting people. Mm-hmm. People actually really, I don't think I've had one bad experience like with like a person for myself, as I said. It's been a lovely time.
It's been a lovely time. Thank you so much for rocking with us. Thank you guys. Oh yeah. Have a fantastic Christmas.
Lovely Christmas.
See you at the live show. See you at the party. We're going to go and
gather life experience so we can discuss other things again.
See you in February, guys. Bye.
Bye. And we're done. This is like Jola's singing career did not really move where it was supposed to go.
Oh, at times, who are you? This incredible season of I Said What I Said has been brought to you by Carousel Networks. We are your hosts, Jola and Fekemi FK Abudu. Our producer is Debbie Romeo. Our social media manager is Najita Anira. Our cinematographer is the one and only Divine Nabuko. Our production associate is the incredible Theresa Ajayi. On audio, we have our OG David, and our camera assistant is Abolade Oluyede. Thank you so much for working with us for this entire year and this incredible season of the 7th year of I Said What I Said has been brought to you by Missan, by Bamboo. See you next year.